Hey y'all, it's Rest here, and this is a draft overview of all of the teams that have been drafted in my draft league, the PDL Radical Red draft league. Now, in this video, I will obviously be going over each one of these teams in relatively decent detail. I'll just bring my thoughts over what each team does. And then at the very end, I'm gonna rank them in order of which I believe is the best and worst. Now, I'm not really gonna get too much not really gonna say much more. I'm just gonna go straight into the rankings right now. The first team we have to cover is I'm gonna cover mine first. Just because right, it might as well cover my own team first, right? I might go a little bit extra detail for my team just because it is the one I know the most, right? But anyways, the how I'm gonna do this each ranking is first I'm gonna go over all of the Pokemon and the Radical Red changes. Then I'll go over the just general like type weaknesses that each draft will have, and I'll go over the speed tiers and just the team's general utility and like where and then I'll just do like an overview of where I believe each team falls flat and whatever, right? So to start it off, obviously we have my team, right? That was my week 1 team. I'm gonna crop that out when or it was blacked out when what's it called? um Editing does. So yeah, my first Pokemon is Hisuian Arcanine. This is a 20 pointer, one of the very few on the board, and this Pokemon gained Accelerock and Headlong Rush in Radical Red, which are pretty cool additions. Headlong Rush not much so, right? I feel like close combat's generally better, but it's just nice to have, you know. And then you have Accelerock, which is also really cool. It did, however, lose extreme speed, right? It's a pretty tough loss because extreme speed is obviously stronger than stab Accelerock by like 20 whole base power. Obviously, Accelerock can hit super effectively though, which is really nice. Helps into those flying types as ice types and whatnot, right? Then you have Mega Venusaur. Mega Venusaur want to go Chloroblast, but still a fantastic Pokemon, right? Also in this draft league, Mega owners gain access to both the base Pokemon and the Mega Pokemon, so I can use regular Venusaur with like Chlorophyll, and as you can see by the Volbeat, I can run Manual Sun decently. I say Manual Sun. The reason I didn't draft like Torkoal or Vulpix or whatever, like Ninetales or even um Castform is because Drought and Drizzle are both banned. Everyone unanimously voted on those to be banned weather is weather is fucking cheap in lower tiers, and I'm sure this will be no exception, right? Next up is Corviknight. Corviknight, like all Gen 8 Pokemon and 9 Pokemon, gained access to Toxic, which makes Corviknight that extra bit less passive. Just helps a lot into those setup threats that like for example don't take super effective damage from Body Press or Brave Bird that could like get like a Dragon Dance or Sword Stance off on it for free, or like a Calm Mind or whatever. Now those Pokemon have to face the threat of a Toxic, you know, which is just really nice for Corviknight. Gastrodon didn't gain anything. Still a nice Pokemon. Complements that Corviknight nicely by being a more especially bulky Pokemon, right? Zarude has Sucker Punch and Pursuit in Radical Red, and I guess Sand Headbutt, but that's never going to see the light of day. It lost Encore though, which is pretty tough. But Zarude does get Encore, right? Encore, yeah, it lost Encore. As you can see here, right? Like, here we go. I'll just do this. Yeah, Zarude lost Encore. A lot of things lost Encore actually. I don't really like that about the Radical Red changes, but whatever, right? Super Braver got Future Sight, a dual screens, and not only that, I also got a general bulk increase. I got, I believe, 5 in health and 10 in the other stats. I'm just gonna look this up though because I may have gotten the numbers wrong. Yes, 115. Yeah, 5. Yeah, I was correct, right? Yeah, just a really nice buff to Hisuian Braviary. Obviously cut its also cut its useless attack by a lot. So I think it's like 30, 25 or whatever, right? Which literally doesn't matter. At worst, that gives us slightly less variety since this could technically could have otherwise run like a cool, like, I don't know, choice band tinted lens set, but like honestly, I'd much rather just run. And I return. I want to get a little food break. Now, yeah, I was talking about Braviary. Yeah, have pretty cool additions for Braviary. I must say though, I'm I'm gonna need to check if tinted lens works with future sight. Like after you switch out, because if it does, that shit's gonna be raw as fuck. I'm gonna be loading up specs on that bitch, and I'll be clicking tinted lens, and future sight, I'm killing pussies left and right. That shit's gonna be mad. But yeah, anyways, right. Um, Next pick I chose is Abstrika, right? I was kind of running out low on points at this point, so I had to pick a bunch of like lower tier picks. Substrike is one of them. It was a pretty nice speed tier at 116. Um, right. Now, well, we're here for the additions though. So if you look at Substrike's additions, I got a lot, so I'm gonna look it up here. Move it up a little. I got Flare Boost, which now doesn't deal burn chip to the user, which is pretty nice. Also got Bolt Strike, which I believe is the Zekrom signature move, right? The physical electric moves, like 130 base power, shit's mad. Flare Blitz, Flamethrower, Zippy Zap, which is a 50 base power, what's it called? 50 base power, priority always crit move. Very broken, though. We know with our 116 speed, it's like a little pointless, and Racing Voltage does nothing on my Zipshaka because obviously didn't draft something like the Dene for Electric Terrain or Pinkerton, right? Next pick I chose was Graplucked. Graplucked got a lot of huge buffs. I'm also gonna look this up because it got a huge addition of moves. It got a new typing and fighting water, Jet Punch, Flip Turn, Mach Punch, Arm Thrust, which is now 25 base power per hit, and Low Sweep, which makes it just overall huge additions for this thing. Gives it like priority, which it's much needed on this thing, given its pretty pathetic speed, obviously, and not exactly the most ideal bulk. So now it can actually get hits off well, especially on like a bulk up set. This would be like extremely raw, right? Now, finally, well, not finally, what am I saying? Frostlass got 15 in both its offensive stats. It's 15, right? Let me look up Frostlass. Yeah, it's 15, which is pretty crazy, honestly. Also got Ice Body and most notably Stakeout, which are both crazy additions. Like this Pokemon, just gets Snowcloak and well, yeah, it gets Snowcloak on the showdown for whatever reason, but yeah, right. Very like insane addition, especially Stakeout. Lets it be like that much more threatening, right? Like if it comes in on like a switch on like a super effective, you can just click Shadow Ball for free, and like if someone comes in, basically get like a super effective Shadow Ball with that Stakeout boost, right? Like it's crazy, right? And it's a good speed tier. Volbeast got like a general stat redistribution. It's got like higher HP, special attack speed, right? And also got some electric moves and an electric typing. Nothing too crazy, right? But this is my Sunsetter for my draft, which, you know, good to have, right? With that Venusaur and soon Econine combination, they're gonna definitely be, it's gonna help them get those huge numbers off. And finally Wigglytuff, which we got Lovely Kiss and Moonblast alongside Sheer Force and actually pretty solid move pool. Not Whimsicott, Wigglytuff. Did I say Whimsicott or whatever, right? No longer I said there's like very solid move pool. I can use this as like a really shitty version of Nidoking, right? If I really need to, though I'll probably definitely be using it just as like a check to dragons most of the time. As for the teams type matchups, if you just take a like quick look, you'll see Rock is the only one that's like in the negatives here, right? Rock is pretty bad, and I mean not bad. It's you know the Rock matchup is pretty bad for this team, right? You've got a fair share of weaknesses, though. Well, yeah, just a fair share of weaknesses and two assists. One of them is grab plucked, which is kind of and the other one's Gastrodon, which is good, but I'm sure it can definitely get overwhelmed by like very strong physical attackers, given its pretty meager defenses, like physical defenses, right? Grab pluck does help though against those rocks, anyways, because it does have stab and technician mach punch or jet punch to hit back and just do a fuck ton of damage to them, right? Anything else to look at? You got like flying, which is also a little bit tough, because like some strikers basically fake resist. So you're left with basically two resist. Corviknight does not resist the heat wave of a lot of the strong flying types on the board. Like take a look at Mega Pidgeot. There's also a Togekiss on the board with Aeroblast, which makes it just extremely strong. There's like one more notable, very notable flying type. Articuno, you don't this 100% doesn't get heat wave, but like I'm sure like Ice Move can chunk Corv, and like Moltres as well can run like an offensive stab, be pretty scary, right? Because it's like still very strong. It's like 125 still on Moltres, right? There's also Student Arcanine obviously, but which is like a little bit like more consistent because it does actually wall like Togekiss, Aura Sphere probably like bouncing off, maybe not, I don't know, right? Mega Pidgeot has like Focus Blast to chunk out, so like generally speaking the fly match for it seems also pretty tough, right? I'm sure Gastrodon could maybe eat like a Hurricane on a good day though, I don't know, right? I'll see in the future, right? I think fire is like for the most part fine. Have like a whole ass Gastrodon, which since most fire types generally speaking on the special side, I think it should be fine. Soon Arcanine obviously also has like Intimidate and 4 times resist on fire. Very solid and grab blocked. Always revenge kills them with that jet punch unless they run past show. Right. Overall though, type matchups is fine, I'd say. Right. Looking at the speed tiers, my team is one of the slowest ones in the draft. Right. I think it's like the second or third slowest draft. But in terms of how spaced out the speed tiers are, I think I did a brilliant job. Right. Most of these have like a 5 to 10 spacing on like this entire row. I think I did a really brilliant job in even making my speed tiers as even as possible, right? Obviously in the lower tier speed tiers honestly don't matter as much, right? So like that's like the exception, but it's not exactly a super relevant one in my opinion, right? But overall, even though the team is slightly more lower than average, I did a decent job at spacing those speed tiers out to where I think it's relatively fine. I saw some very solid scaffers, but I was talking about my speed tiers, I think. Yeah, not pretty sure I was concluding, so there really isn't much to talk about my speed tiers. Right. We take a look at my what's it called? Just other like utility forms. I also mic cut out. As I was saying, right? Yeah, I think I did generally very good job with my like just general utility. I have very good hazards, right? And Gastrodon, rocks and spikes. It doesn't say spikes here, but it does get spikes. And I just take a ghastly. Oh, fuck that shit. Yeah, it gets spikes, right? So like, yeah, it's got like spikes on Gastro and rocks too. First has the spikes too, in case I want a more offensive spiker. Soon Arcanine has rocks too, right? I could use that on like bulk or intimidate sets. Wigglytuff also gets rocks, I guess. I don't think I probably would use it if I use bulky Wigglytuff. So like, yeah, defogging I always have one of the best ones in Corviknight, right? And the other ones that don't even pale in comparison. Right, I could maybe use defog Braviary. I can use Corv in the game, and I really need a fogger maybe. Right, no rapid spin's a little tough, but there's no golden go to block, so honestly, who gives a shit, right? Could be tough when I run spike stack though, where and you really remove like a sticky web or something, but I don't know, right? So for example, like just hazards on my side, and I'm also running hazards on, well, you know what I mean, right? Healing doesn't really matter that much, but I have like a lot of reliable coverage, is nice. In terms of like momentum, like U-turning and all that, I think I also have very good pivoting on my team. like most of my team has pivoting, right? And a lot of them are very solid pivots, which just helps, right, a lot. It lets me run like a volt turn core, for example, on a good day, right? Like think maybe like Zerud and Braviary could be like a very fantastic like volt turn core, right? I have very good knockoff users Zerud and Mega Venusaur, right? Wigglytuff a little bit, but I can use it. So I have two trick users, which are fine. Thunder Wavers are alright. Volbeat obviously has Prankster Thunder Wave, which can help. Frostlass having Thunder Wave 2 helps. Will-O-Wisping is also solid. Frostlass and Hercanine. I also have Yawn on my Gastrodon, which is just nice to have, right? Since Sleep isn't banned here, I can just use Yawn to interrupt a sweeper. I think one of the best places, best spots my team shines in those the priority options. I have excellent priority options to overcome the really shitty, well not really shitty, but like the slower speed tiers that my team has, right? Like Accelerock, Jet Punch, Mach Punch, Ice Shard, Zippy Zip, Sucker Punch, right? Extreme speed here, but obviously Harkonnen doesn't get extreme speed in RadRed, right? So, you know, disregard that, right? All great priority options. They also help my weaknesses really nicely, right? I have obviously Accelerock for like a very fast flying type that could be referencing my team, most notably like Mega Pidgeot. I have like Jet Punch and Mach Punch for those rock types that I was mentioning earlier. And then I have like solid disruption moves like Circle Throw, Clear Smog, um Roar, Whirlwind, plenty of taunt users, all of which are decent, right? Is a rude. I didn't even know Corbin I got taunt. That's something I knew, but I completely forgot this guy did have taunt, right? Overall, I think my draft ended up very, very solid, right? The only downside my team has is well, there's two. I'd say firstly, the fact I drafted two grass types that are of a relatively similar role. Well, not really similar at all, Zero to Mega Venusaur, but like two like physically bulky grass is a little tough. However, that being said though, if you take a look at Zerud and Venusaur, just to like specifically Mega Venusaur, oh my gosh, it's so slow. Like you'll notice that they really do not share a lot of weaknesses at all. The only weakness they literally share is flying, right? Mega Venusaur obviously is neutral to fire and ice because of thick fat. So really it's not that much of an issue at all, but I think like it definitely is like something to acknowledge. Another thing is the fact that since I had to well not had to but I did pick a lot of like high tiers on my team, 20 pointers here, 17 pointer. I think this is a 16 pointer, is this? Yeah, 16 pointer. This is also 16 pointer, yeah. Right? I had to really budget at the end, right? All of these guys are like 10 points or lower, right? So like I drafted a lot more shit mons than other teams, right? Like if you take just a quick glance, you'll notice a lot of teams on the board have more just good mons than mine, which is a bit of a tough downside. However, I don't think any of my quote unquote shit mons are bad. Right, all of them fulfill like an important role on my team. Like again, Substract of the speed tier, Braviary just gives me a fighting resist, Graplock deals with the rock types, like Frostlass deals with the dragon matchup, like Volbeat sets the suns off. So overall, right, I think my team is very good. I think I'll definitely be looking forward to use this team. Right, it has its weaknesses, but I think the strengths of this team definitely overwhelm those pretty minor weaknesses, right? So I'll go over the next team now. Now the next team I'll be looking over is Grunkles. Just right before I'm gonna go over this team, this Orbital is Mega. If you just take a quick look at Mega Orbital stats, it's actually very solid. It has like very great defensively, great offensively, and has a very respectable speed to 100, especially when this draft league is just generally slower, given that like a lot of like most OU Pokemon are banned, right? Just like it's just nice. So it's still Orbital though, has like pretty garbage coverage, right? But like honestly, who cares? This Pokemon can run excellent like setup sets, Calm Mind, Iron Defense, can Agility, it still has Sticky Web, which is very great, right? and it has that magic gate ability which prevents it from getting toxic too, right? So as it runs those sets, it's pretty hard to stop once it gets set up, and once you've cleared all of those like things that freshness, right? So like even though like you might think, well, Orbital's you know, you see Orbital and think it's shit, but honestly it's actually very, very solid, right? Pick one though, I would probably never pick this pick one. Also as a side note, yeah, you might be under one point Orbital here. It's because like this prep deck that I'm using for this video, it's a little bit finicky with Radical Red Megas. Like as you can see, if you take a look at the type matchups, like none of its weaknesses are showing. It's a little annoying. So I just put regular Orbital, or like you know, just the regular versions of Pokemon, or like Pokemon with the same typing in these spots instead. It gives you like a general idea anyways, right? So anyways, yeah, or Mega Orbital, very solid Pokemon. You got Okidogi, which I believe only got Mach Punch, and Radical Red, very cool. Also got a buffed Poison Fang. If we take a look at Okidogi real quick, Poison Fang is now 75 base power, rather than like 50 than it was last time, and still has that 50% chance to Toxic, which may make it a lot better than Poison Jab in like a majority of matchups. And I'm here. Obviously, Gunk Shot is still here, right? So it's not like Gunk Shot's still like gone. So forced to use Poison Fang. Like now, Gunk Shot will still probably be like the best option a lot of the time, like especially on like Scarf or band sets, right? But you know, Poison Fang is a pretty nice buff to this thing. Oh, I also lost Guard Dog because Guard Dog is not in Radical Red as in the ROM hack itself. Got replaced with Defiance. Unfortunately, I believe that means it can get phased out now. I'm pretty sure that's what Guard Dog does, right? Yeah, cannot be forced to switch out. Like Whirlwind will not work on this, which is a pretty tough you know, downside, right? But obviously, you know, it does make up for it by the fact they get +1 on a Intimidate now rather than just. Wait, no, does Guard Dog give a? Oh, it does give. Guard Dog does give a +1. So this is just like, if you get strictly Intimidate, this is just a strict nerf, but obviously there's a lot more, like, you know, lowering moves, most notably defog. Like in that case it's a strict buff, right? Toad Scroll's biggest buff by far is the fact that it doesn't have my Mycelium Might. It just has 100 speed, Spore, now has Clear Body and Mold Breaker. Just a massive buff to Toad Scroll. Makes it a lot more respectable as a Pokemon, right? As if it wasn't already, right? Now it's excellent like Pokemon, right? Sylveon Substract is a new Pokemon. I'll go over this Pokemon real quick if you're not very familiar. Its abilities are Lightning Rod, Illuminate, which has been buffed so where it buffs accuracy by 1.2, has Ice Body, right? It has that really nice Ice Electric typing, which gives a you know, stab bulk boom, very useful. Also Live for Illuminate, it makes Blizzard and Thunder more accurate. However, it's not that much more accurate. It's like still like only 84 accurate, but like honestly, if you really need that power, like might as well. If you're on like a Life Orb or like Wise Glasses set, for example, or like even just boots, you might just appreciate the power life if you really need it, right? So just having that more accurate Thunder and Blizzard just as an option is very nice, and it's also very hard for opponents to prep for, right? Because it's just so strong, right? It's also like 110 special attack, very solid, right? Overall, one of the more fantastic picks of this draft in my opinion. Samurott, again, steel typing, again sharpness, again regular Samurott stats, right? It's no longer like a weird mixed attacker. It now just has strictly more attack, right? Though obviously still has that respectable special attack, so it can still run those like mixed like hydro pump sets, right? Also gains again it, yeah, it's also helped by the fact that Cut is a steel type move now, and it's also sharpness boosted, which obviously gives the sharpness double stab. Very great Pokemon. It does gain Shell Smash and Radical Red, however that is complex banned because that'll quite literally be way too broken, right? It's like so strong, right? Though it can obviously still run those Swords Dance sets, right? Like that's very respectable. How she gets agility? No, it does not get agility. No speed boosting, no nothing. Huh, that's weird. I thought it would get something like that. Well, that's tough, but yeah, Swords Art sets are still very respectable on this thing. Moltres is still Moltres. I don't think it got any buffs, but really, it's still like an amazing Pokemon, right? Grimmsnarl, likewise, I don't think it actually got Infiltrate over one of its shit abilities, so it's just nice for its like more offensive sets. Since his offensive sets are a lot more nice in like draft league. Kafa Gruger's got Shadow of Shield. Also got some other buffs. I wouldn't need to look those up because they were. Oh no, that's it. I know it's Rodriguez that got the other buffs. Right. Zygarde dog form got inner focus over its use as power construct. Alright. Which is just nice, or like aura construct or like aura break. Right. Doesn't have two useless abilities now in draft league. It can actually like immune to intimidate, immune to flinching. Just very good. Right. Good to have. Finally, Knucklestack also didn't gain anything. Bit of a shit like Pokemon, but that evaluate stuff. I don't know. I felt like some alarm was ringing. So like yeah, overall like, and then you got like Knucklestack, just like as a physically offensive rock, pretty nice pick on this draft, for reasons I will go over soon. Right now, and the type matchups, I believe this is where the team is very how do I put it, it kind of sucks in this part, right? Firstly you look at flying, right? Like, especially attack and fly types will pretty much ravage this team. Samurott isn't exactly the most especially bulky Pokemon ever, right? I mean you can run Assault Vest, but like looking at this team, honestly this is probably your like best flying type answer. It's pretty pathetic. Sylveon's Obstruct is still frail as fuck, and like Knuckles, like especially Knucklestack is also extremely frail. I'm sure, I guess you could tank like a fly move or two, but it's like definitely not gonna be tanking a lot. Like it's probably like gonna get free KO most of the time, right? Same, kind of similar-ish issue to fire, where you basically only have one real resist. Especially if it's like special attack and fire types, like Moltres, like, and even the Moltres. Well, no, Moltres definitely solid. Defensively, right? But like, having as pretty much your only very sturdy fire resist is kind of whack. I mean, obviously Knucklestack can take those strong physical fire hits well, right? Because like it still has like 100 defense. With Violet, that's like very good, but really it's a little bit bad as well, right? I'm gonna excuse Ghost because like shit don't really matter. Um, I think the ground resist are fine too. Like Moltres, most grounds are gonna be like physical. So like Moltres should be able to deal with them even if they do got that rock coverage, right? Like if they, I think it's fine. Then you have like Toad Scroll, just comes in every time, just frames with Spore, so on and so forth, right? Um, Ice also very iffy. Your only resist is literally Samurott. Again, Substruct is basically not real, and like other like one if it's like God forbid the Ice type has real coverage, especially like if it has super effective coverage against Samurott, in which case it's fucked, right? Like then this team just gets fucked by Ice, right? Also water, your only resist literally is Samurott, right? Like quite literally, not even like saying like, oh, this isn't real resist. No, it's literally just Samurott your only water resist, which is pretty horrible when you've got like wave crash and water types. Just click one button against this team and just completely ravage it. And against Samurott isn't exactly particularly bulky, so it's like kind of ass. You also may have noticed that a general theme we've had with all these types that Grunko's weak to is that it's pretty much one check, pretty much like the only real checks to them are literally just Summer and Moltres, right? If your opponent can just like stack those types against you, and those checks would just become way too overwhelmed. At which point, well then you're just fucked, right? Like, you know what I mean? Um, right. Other than that, the team is solid. Aside from those good few types on actually, right? The team is solid against most types on the board, right? Some like no, yeah. So yeah, like against like most other types, obviously it's fine, but those few types are those weakness to those few types, especially when they're such good types offensively, and then the fact that most of the checks to those types you're weak to are literally just two Pokemon. It's not looking very good. Right, in terms of that. Maybe I'm exaggerating it, but like this is like one of the biggest things I just really do not like about this team. However, obviously a lot of the Pokemon in this team are very good, just out of baseline, right? Got a lot of strong Pokemon, so that does counteract that type weakness a nice bit. Looking at speed tiers are fine, right? Just wish they weren't as clustered as they are. Obviously, I have like two speed tiers are pretty much just 115, two 100 speed tiers. There's Mega Orbitals 100, like you got two 90 speed tiers. But like other than that, like I mean, then it's not just speed tiers are bad. Not the team is slow or anything, right? Well, there's one of the slower ones, obviously, right? It's tied with mine, but like you know, like yeah, the speakers are fine, right? Just a little bit clustered a lot of the time, but that's not a huge issue. If like the speakers they're clustering around aren't bad. Looking at the hazards, this team literally has a one stealth rocker and snackle stack, which I think is pretty shit, right? Your only spiker being Toadstool, that's perfectly fine because Toadstool is a great spiker. Sticky Rabbit and Toxic Spikes are also nice to have. Looking at the removal, Gringotto has two fantastic removers in Moltres and Toadstool, right? Momentum wise, you do have like good momentum and like good U-turn users, good flip turn users, good like all of these are good picks. Knockoff on this team is pretty fantastic. Okidogi Samurai very solid. You also got Toadstool and Kafakugas, which can definitely do those well. Status looking very sound too, right? Good whispers, very good Thunderwavers. Grimmsnarl cooking Thunderwave is always just very annoying to deal with. Got the base 100 Spore, right? Galera from Zydog, all very like annoying statuses to deal with, and they're all very good as well, right? Status on this team is it's fine, right? So I mean, Summer Aquajet is fine, I guess, right? Not too strong, but it's not weak either. It's just nice to have, right? You've got extreme speed from Zydog, even though it's a low weak percent on the base 100. I think it's still like good, right? Like it's just Ice Shard for Zubstriker. Now, you might be wondering why I mentioned this, even though it's literally special attacker. It is actually very solid if you're going against like a 4 times weak to ice Pokemon. Like most notably, if you take a quick look at this board, Flygon, right? I think that's like Mega Sandaconda. Well, not Mega Sandaconda because it's usually a Coil Sweeper, right? You're never gonna work on that, right? With like Ice Shard, but like yeah, like like gets like Flygon for example. You know, you can click Ice Shard and it's actually like pretty annoying to prep for, right? Because like you can like outspeed all you want, but still get an Ice Sharded, for example, right? Um, you also have like Okidagi Mach Punch, which is nice, and Sucker Punch from Grimmsnarl, which still hits pretty hard because Grimmsnarl is actually pretty strong. It's like 120, yeah, right? And then Disruption is very good all around, right? You're a good Encore user in Samura, very just you know decent user of Encore, right? And then it could hit back after you've encored with that very strong like Aqua Cutter cut. Yeah, overall, I think this team has a lot of good Pokemon on it, but it has a lot of places it struggles, like that awful type matchups into those like types you're weak to, like fire, flying, um, and water, right? Like all those types, you're going to struggle so fucking much because literally all of your resists are, all the good resists to those types are literally just two Pokemon, right? Like once those Pokemon go down, you're going to definitely get fucked by like a lot of things. But obviously, as I mentioned before, this team has a lot of strong mons, right? But those like few things with the type matchups and the hazard setting being like rock setting is being pretty shit makes it pretty tough, right? Now I'll go over the next team right now. The next team that we're looking over is Icy's team. Icy's team is very cool in my opinion. Just one of the cooler drafts in my opinion, right? Like I'm not even talking about viability, right? And it is definitely one of the stronger teams. It's just very cool, right? First we got Screamtail, which got pretty significant buffs. It got if I'm just gonna look show it up here. It got a lot of buffs. 20 in special attack lets it run the special attack booster sites a lot more reliably, right? Now instead of being like locked to shit, like equivalent of 65 base speed, you're locked to like 85 base speed if you're trying to run speed booster, right? Just nice. You got Moonblast now. Hello, I'm back. I was talking about Screamtail, right? Yeah, Screamtail got like so many buffs, right? Got also got Tangling Hair, right? Moonblast, Teleport, right? I was talking about, yeah. Actually, it doesn't get Moonblast in Vanilla. Didn't even know that. But yeah, right. All those buffs made Screamtail, in my opinion, probably this easily the best. Oh, excuse me. But easily the best Pokemon on the board. This Pokemon is brilliant, right? Just does everything you'd want it to, right? just, you know, Civilian Dhelmise is a new Pokemon. I'll go over that real quick. Dhelmise. Dhelmise, super gooey and tinted lens. It's a special attacker as opposed to regular Dhelmise being a physical attacker. It has like a more defensive stats, however, right? As opposed to Dhelmise is more offensive build, right? So it's like a lot weaker, but it has tinted lens to make up for it, right? And tinted lens is fantastic on this. It can run both like offensive sense, it can run bulky sense, it can run choice band so to catch your opponent off guard, right? Because like 81 on tinted lens is like still very solid, it's good coverage. You know, also has like knockoff. You got like any like you know support move, aggressive, ask for, lead seed synth, right? You can run SD, right? Right, and yeah, just a very good Pokemon. Another Pokemon that they had, I'm just gonna go over it right now, is Sylveon Mega Centiskorch. Is it not here? Centiskorch Sylveon Mega, yeah, right. This is a this Mega Pokemon, not Arena Trap. Arena Trap is banned on this, but a few Radical Red Megas have two abilities rather than one, and this one of them has Sand Force if you use White Smoke on the base form, right? Which is just very cool, right? I don't think yeah, I didn't draft any sand on this team, so probably will never use it, but you know, right? Also has okay coverage, right? On Bug Rock, Ground. Also has a Crunch Cut, just like maybe Iron Tail on a good day, right? And it has, you know, that coil that regular Sunscorch has. Also has Stealth Rock, right? Rock Punish, right? And it's very strong and extremely fast and relatively bulky, right? On the special side especially. It's 100 flat across. So we had Mega Sunscorch, very solid Pokemon, right? Articuno got like a very big buffs in Shield Dust, which now negates hazards, which was, you know, Articuno's greatest weakness that was pretty much bound to heavy duty boots every game. I was getting chunked by Stealth Rock, right? Also got a speed buff, which is awesome on this Pokemon. I also got Blue Storm. I believe I got something else too. Articuno. Oh yeah. Blue Storm. I got Earthfire and Focus Blast and Calm Mind. This Pokemon is actually very strong now, right? Would you believe it, right? Like, even if it's pretty weak, it's on base 95 special attack, it's Pokemon still like very fantastic. Bitcoin Storm, along with all the other Genie Storm moves, is also 9% accurate now, very nice. And Freezing is now Frostbite, which is the Legends Arceus move that lowers special attack by how it's like the special equivalent to Burn, right? Which is just really nice. Right, the next Pokemon is Raikou, which I'm pretty sure the only additions from got is Electro Shot, right? Now, the other one's Incineroar. I'm pretty sure Incineroar got something, but I can't put my finger on it. Yeah, basically just Power Punch. Dark Hole is a bad move in this league. It's like extremely broken. It's like 100 base power deck when there's a 4% chance to sleep. Stupid, fucking ridiculous move. That's why I banned it. Right? River got fucking gigaton, nuclear fuckton of buffs. Oh my gosh. Stealth Rock, Spikes, U-Turn, Flame Charge, Heat Crash, Bunny Press. Right, those are all the like good moves. It didn't even lose Toxic Spikes. I'm quite 100% certain that it still has Toxic Spikes. It does, right? So like this Pokemon is a fantastic utility Pokemon. It can also run those offensive sets, right? Like this Pokemon is just great now. You know, like having every hazard, and then those like set up shift gear sets, having that like extra coverage that you now get. You know, with like Heat Crash. I think Heat Crash is very how fat is this Pokemon actually? Slash DT rev of I'm curious. It's like 120 kilograms. It's like a little bit like I don't know, right? Very cool Pokemon though, right? Gudra got a lot of additions, most notably Wish, but it also got a few other moves, like Dragon Dance Dragon Hammer, which I believe got buffed in Radical Red. How did I get buffed again? Let me look. Dragon Hammer. Yeah, I got buffed to 100 power, and it got distributed to a lot of Pokemon now. So that's really nice. Also got Drain Punch, Giga Drain, Scald, Wish. I already mentioned Wish, but like just it's a fantastic buff for Gudra. It's one of the higher pointers on the board, right? Pretty cool Pokemon. Sock also got Contrary and I believe Hammer Arm, so it has like all of those dropping fighting moves on. It's like Contrary with Stab, a bit like still like pretty frail, not exactly the fastest, but it's a very great Pokemon anyways, right? And finally Cloth, which I believe got something, but can't put my finger on it. Oh yeah, I got a few moves. They got Rock Polish, Superpower, Body Press, Home Claws, though that's a very useless move. Cut, right? Just a very nice low tier Pokemon. Now, looking at this team type matchups, it does fall flat in a few areas, right? Notably Fairy is probably one of the more Fairy weak drafts on the entire board. Obviously, I have Reverroom as a 4 times resist, but like that's literally it, right? Like if like the poison type, I mean the fairy type has like even like a neutral move to hit this Reverroom or like special, because like Reverroom is frail as fuck, right? It's on the special side at least. 80 and 67 is pretty bad, right? Like I'm a blast user, absolutely like with real coverage, absolutely ravages this team, right? Right. You also have like if you take a quick look, you have like well. We also have Rock, right? Rock is not exactly amazing. Sock is pretty frail, right? So Reverroom is like the bulkiest Rock type answer on this team. It's not desirable, right? So like that's pretty tough. I don't think it's as bad as Grunko's type weaknesses. However, it's like you know it's a little tough, right? Looking forward to how see how this team manages these weaknesses, especially to the Moonblast. That's a really rough weakness, right? Though obviously not every team has like that Moonblast, right? But and also Screamtail is still very good. Blanket check to special moves, 115, 115 in both stats is extremely strong, so you can easily just run Screamtail to overcome those weaknesses. The speed tiers on this team are fantastic, probably one of the best speed tiers on the entire board, right? Just very perfectly spaced out, right? The speed tiers are fantastic on this team, very well spaced out, right? With a good peak, right? On nice like slower Pokemon too. Like you really cannot find like a good spot to like cut your speed EVs in favor of HP, right? That's like except if you're like a base 100 110 Pokemon, in which case like you can cut a little bit, but it's like never crazy anyways, right? Very like excellent speed tier is probably one of the best on the entire board. Looking at the like just general utility on this team, there it's like all right. You've got like good hazard setting, right? Screamtail most notably very good, and you can also use like Savine Scorch as like with like I don't know, maybe coilless, just pure offense. You can probably like slot rocks on the last slot, similar to like I don't know, like all attacks Mega Garchomp like ass, right? You got like Claw for like Regenerator for example, can do that pretty nicely. Again, Reverroom, again, both those hazards and toxic spikes, just having that, all that, variety in hazards is nice. Removal is fine, right? You got Rapid Spin Delmize, which is pretty good. Default cards can be a little iffy, but it can definitely work, right? Momentum is fine on this team, right? It's just good, right? Not much to note here. You got like a fuck ton of item removal. Stances, like, you don't have that many, right? You're like, only great Thunderwave users, Screamtail, like Rook is a little bit iffy, and like Will-O-Wisp is your only great inserters like your only Wisp user, right? And this team also has basically no priority. Obviously, Articuno can still run that, like I shared with you know, but obviously, like it's like still it's like an option, but it's you've got to like what's it called? It's like it being your only priority option is kind of work, and then the disruption is also very solid. You have like good haze and all that. Overall, I definitely think this team is one of the strongest ones, right? It's very good all around. A few bad type matchups, right? Notably again against those fair types, but again you have good answers to that, right? Screen and um even Articuno, right? You can definitely run like something like Articuno, like special defensive, especially since Shield Dust, you know, prevents, well not prevents, like negates the need for boots, right? Which is really nice. Like, so and then you have like Rock, which is also pretty tough, but and that was a little bit worse, right? But overall, I think this is one of the best drafts, right? Now, I'm gonna go over the next team now. Now, the next team I'll be going over is Jolteon's team, right? Now, no, Jolteon's team is very solid. I'll be going over real quick now. Jolteon's most notable addition is spikes. Makes it like a little bit less passive when the opposing team has a good like ground type, right? Because like if there's a good ground type on the opposing team, Jolteon basically can't do shit. But now I can like set a spike on a predicted switch. Makes it a a little bit more annoying to deal with. Right, since I'll be just constantly setting the spikes, and I'll be I feel like, you know, I'll be cooking those like big volt switches. I got to go for a calm mindset, which is like okay, given it's like very strong speed, tier, and like okay special attack. Right, Mega Sceptile. Got a general stat redistribution. It's a physical attacker now with 135 attack rather than 145 special attack. Which though unfortunately I got like overall like nerfed in power. However, Technician is a massive buff for this thing. This thing now has Technician Dual Chop, which is as strong as Outrage now. We've also got a few other buffs. Let me check real quick. No, it's already it. I mean, Draco Brush is a banned move. I'm not counting that, honestly. Right, but like, it's a very good Pokemon now. It has that Technician Bullet Seed again. Right, I can run Dragon Dance sets decently now. Well, Sword Dance is the better option, obviously, but you know, right? Quavo got a lot of moves, but pretty much the more important ones, if you just take a look, Quavo is like Defog, does it not get flipped on in vanilla? Sure it does. I don't know why it says flipped on here, or it gets in vanilla, but like, yeah, fucked on moves here, but like, really the more important ones like Defog, right? Which is pretty cool, right? In case there's like a spin blocker on the opposing team, you could just run Defog instead and just get rid of the hazard anyways, right? Skarmory, most notably actually gets Frisk instead of some uses ability I had before, like Big Pecs or something. Just what the fuck. Yeah, yeah, that was Kenai, right? Kenai got deleted from Radical Reds and was replaced by Frisk across the board. Skarmory's one of the benefiters of this. And that's actually huge, right? Frisk has a fantastic ability in Draft League, since you can use it to like scout things like resist berries, something that's very hard to like scout out for other ways, right? And still a fantastic defensive Pokemon. And they got Earthquake and Close Combat, which lets it hit those annoying rock types much easier now, right? Previously, obviously, it was pretty shit into rock types, since it's only like a way to hit them really was like Stomping Tantrum, which is dog shit, but like now it has more options. Stunfisk got massive buffs. It got a new move. Well, not a new move, but a completely reworked move. It's Snap Trap. It's now I think it was already. No, it wasn't Steel type already. But just take a look, right? Because no Snap Trap is some bullshit in vanilla. Yeah, it's like a 35 base power move. Now it's a 100 base power Steel type move. That it's just a magma. It obviously like does the same shit as Magma Storm. Right? Like absolute amazing move, right? It's also its only, this is also its only Steel Stab, which is really fucking cool because Vanilla Gunfish just does not get fucking Steel Stab for some reason. Like physical Steel Stab, its only Steel Stab is Metal Claw and Flesh Cannon, and still be my guess. Off its pathetic like 60 special attack, it's pretty dog shit, right? But now it actually has physical Steel Stab and it's good physical Steel Stab, right? I don't think got anything else. If you just take a look, Stunfisk, yeah, I got Aqua Tail. Oh yeah, and also two abilities. Got Filter, which is an amazing ability for like a bulky Pokemon, and Iron Barbs, which is let's run those like cheeky like Rocky Helmet Iron Barb sets, which are always very annoying to play into. So it's a pretty great Pokemon now. Eternal Floretta is that little weird gimmick Pokemon that was never released, but like it's obviously in Radical Red, so like it's here. It got Natural Cure, right? As an ability now, instead of whatever the bullshit I had before, right? I also got Draining Kiss, which is the really nice one. Calm Mindset, sets it apart from Florida a little bit, right? Florges, I mean, right? Weezing got Toxic Debris most notably, right? Which makes it a lot harder to predict like Levitate or Toxic Debris until like hit a physical move, and then very nice addition for Weezing, right? It has like three fantastic abilities now, right? Brute Bonnet got Poison Heal, which is pretty insane. I believe I've also got one other move, but like I forget what it is. Oh, I got a few. I got Leaf Blade, Earthquake, Knock. It doesn't have knockoff already? No way. Oh my god. Actually doesn't. Jesus Christ. Yeah, like Boopbom's an insane Pokemon now, right? Like huge additions. Poison Heal's a fantastic ability, especially on those bulky sets, right? Now it actually has an ability on those bulky sets, and you know Poison Heal, right? Finally, Drampa. Drampa's very cool, right? Probably like the greatest steal of this fucking board, right? I got a new ability called Fatal Precision, which is a 20% boost to super effective hits and makes them never miss, which helps a lot with a lot of its super strong coverage like Blizzard, Fire Blast, Hydro Pump, Hurricane, right? Thunder, Focus Blast, like absolutely, like it's gone insane with pull to work off that ability, and also I got 30 buff to HP or something stupid like that. And it was only 5 points. Extremely fucking overlooked. Right. That was like pretty that was a funny mishap on my part. Right. Also I was like other good abilities. Hold on, I'm gonna open my window real quick because it's fucking roasting my room right now. Right, I got, you know, obviously Berserk for those are combine sets, right? It has combine sets, right? So I kinda keep boosting and it's roosting and it's like, you know, be annoying and all that. Like Sapsipper also gives it like that aggressive immunity, which I don't think will ever be needed on this team, but like I guess it's just a nice thing to have, I guess. Right? Looking at the type matchups, you've got like I think it's pretty solid for the most part, right? The only annoying ish type is fighting. Um, However, you have two very sound resist to fighting, right? You've got Florida, which resists Focus Blast, and Wu-Ting, which resists close combat, right? Something that is a little bit unfortunate to this team is, well, no, never mind. That was actually no. Fire isn't great, and well, fire is good into the team, but it's not breaking. No, never mind. I thought this for a second because this team free agented a lot of his Pokemon, and Fire used to really ravage his team beforehand. Ice is a pretty tough matchup, but you got Quackleval and Entei, which you know, come in revenge a lot of the time, right? Especially Entei, right? Entei is a pretty annoying Pokemon to let in for free because then you get like a Sacred Fire off, and that's one free burn, right? If you get lucky. Speed tier wise, this team is also very good, I think. Right? You've got a lot of really good speed tiers. Mega Sceptile makes this team. I'm pretty sure this is like the fastest draft, right? You know, with like that 45 speed, 145 Mega Sceptile, right? Actually no, there's a Electro drafted, not bad, but like you know, right? Jolteon, fantastic speed tier too. Like you got like very nicely spaced out speed tiers overall. Like you know, very you know, not much room to breathe in terms of like you know trying to min max like HP EVs out of your Pokemon, for example, right? And if you take a look at the utility, this team has also very solid utility options, right? You've got good spikes, good rocks, and T-spikes, right? And we can even set those T-spikes without a move, you know, for toxic debris, right? Gun removal, like defog scam is just very nice. You know, your Rapids from Quavo if you run in like spike stack, but you don't want to get rid of them, right? By defog, you can just run Rapid Spin. You can also go guess Trampa, but like I don't think Trampa ran. It's fucking loud. Right? I momentum is one of the things that this team struggles in my opinion, right? Pretty much just Quavo and Jolteon, right? Um, Pivoting, which is tough, right? Now, obviously, pivoting isn't exactly mandatory, but shit, might as well, right? Like, you know, it's better to have than to not have. Knockoff are a bit sparse, but both of them are great, and Brookban and Quavo, right? And status is also very good, right? We've got plenty of good status on this team, right? You know, Wisping, like Weezing, you know, like Entei, you know, like very fast, you know, is nice. Yogler, all that, like just great stats in my opinion. And priority is okay, right? Yeah, Jet Quavo's nice, E-Speed Entei, pretty great, and Sucker Punch Bonnet is very good, right? And then a huge ton of disruption, right? A huge variety in the roar users. You got the Haze, you got like you know one of the best whirlwind users in Scam. You got good taunt users all around. Overall, I think this team is one of the best ones. Well, not best, yeah, one of the better ones, right? For sure, right? Like this team has very few weaknesses, right? If there's one thing to like nitpick, I think like you know you drafted two like I cut out again. Yeah, one of the downsides is that there's two physically defensive steals, but honestly I think that's fine because number one Galarian Stunfisk is this team's ground type, right? And so one like at the time of drafting, and by drafting I mean free agenting, because Jolteon got this by affing it into the team. It was one of the few good grounds left on the board, and it was just a worthwhile pick. Second of all, it's also like a special defensive steal, significantly more special defensive than Skarmory. So honestly, I think it's fine, right? Since Glenn stuff is can fulfill that role that Skarmory otherwise can't not. So like I think it's fine, but like other than that, there really isn't much to like nitpick, right? I think that's just a very good draft. Now, not much else to say, right? I'll go over the next team now. Now to the next team, we have Juicy's team, right? Now, obviously, similar to how I've been going over everything else, this Capraja is a Mega Capraja. It's a Steel Fighting type, so I'll pull up the how the team looks like with like Mega Capraja's typing. I'll just put the Carrier in, right? Because obviously Capraja isn't uh Steel Fighting, right? I'll quickly go over Capraja's like stats. It's very strong. Also, Tumble Iron Bash with sheer force. Oop, fucking no, I don't want to play. Fucking right. Oh yeah. Now this Pokemon is alright. It's nothing crazy. Despite these crazy stats of Double Iron Bash, it's like not so extremely slow. Right. Now, anyways, now going over the other picks, Sylveon Cloudster is another new Pokemon that I will go over now. Now, Sylveon Cloudster is a similar to Cloudster, has that Mega Launcher ability. However, it is a much faster, faster at the cost of a little bit more bulk and a little bit of useless attack. Right? Let me, yeah. Right? So it's that all those like pulse moves. Also has Origin Pulse, similar to regular Cloudster, which is pretty fucking funny in my opinion. Right? And also has some cool things like Nasty Paw, Sticky Webs. Oh, excuse me. Taunt, I believe, was also new. Yeah, now another Pokemon is like our Dusk, which got Mighty Cleave, which obviously gives it a good rock step that goes off Tough Claws. Very nice addition. Donphan got Boomerang with Technician. Also helps boost its Ice Shards. Very like cool addition. But they've got something else, but I cannot care less to check. It's probably not significant enough. Mamalo is still that cheesy old like Pokemon is in vanilla, right? No changes to this. Gapdash got like a general like rework of its, well, not stats, but like just general rapid dash. Yeah, I got a huge amount of moves, more notably fire typing, more speed, two new abilities. It means you're replacing Pastel Veil because Pastel Veil got removed. Flash Fire, I think, is a new ability. It's got a Flare Blitz, Fire Lash, Flame Thrower, Flame Charge, Fire Blast, Will Wisp, Cut, Teleport, Flame Wheel, and Overheat. All like decent moves, right? Most of them are decent moves, right? Makes a very good Pokemon. Fire Fairy is a really awesome typing. Alright, it's a good speed tier, 125. Decently strong. Even though it has 100 attack, it makes up for it by having enough stop Flare Blitz, right? Runamo gained Energy Ball, meaning it doesn't need to, all the modem run farms. Got like some extra coverage to go along their types. Runamo got Energy Ball. I believe that's the only move it got. I'll check though. Rotom. Oh, that's got Chloroblast. That's honestly kind of useless. Right. Sounds, yeah. Muck got Regenerator. However, it lost Knockoff. That's pretty fucking bad for it. But Regenerator is a pretty nice addition to it. Also, still got that sticky hold on, so it can be a good knockoff absorber. Wishy Washy, Sylveon Wishy Washy. I'll show you this thing real quick. It's like similar to Wishy Washy, where it's strong as fuck stats, but got that schooling ability where it changes to Solar Form. Right, I got like just decent coverage all around. Ghost Dragon, amazing type combination. Got Poltergeist and Dragon Hammer as like dual stabs. Alternatively, you can also use like Shadow Sneak as Phantom Force. It has checks like check the special moves. Got that Draco Meteor, Pulse, Shadow Ball. A lot of good like moves to use. Also has Dragon Dance, which is pretty shit because its speed I believe is lower than this one's. Yeah, like marginally slower, but it's like noted, like it's a lot, right? Oh, Steam doesn't have a web user. Oh no, it does have web user. Yeah, clouds, right? It can however like use like this Dragon Dance sound like webs and like it can technically outspeed something there, right? But pretty nice synergy there. Also has nice synergy with not Wishy-Washy, Alum Mala, where obviously Alum Mala can wish it into its schooling form. Now its school form. If it like drops below with Wish, right, which is just nice synergy there. Braviary, I don't think Braviary got anything. Brave. When the fuck did Braviary come out? Gen 5. I actually got a few moves. I got Double Edge, Quick Attack, Thunderwave. Thunderwave. That's weird. It's got Frisk as an ability. Don't think I'll ever be used over Sheer Force, but hey, might as well. I'll see on this Caparaja. I'll just put regular Caparaja in here, right? Because it's gonna be a little relevant soon. And finally, Galady, which got Fake Out and Refrigerate in the regular form, right? Just a nice addition, right? Now looking at this team's type matchups, this is where this team struggles a little bit. Oh no, not just a little bit. It actually does struggle quite a bit. I'll go over it right now. Notably, this team has a pretty shit flying weakness. Your only real flying resist is Caparaja, which is not only exactly and not really desirable pick, but also it's what am I trying to say? It doesn't have sheer force anymore in regular form. For some fucking reason, they took sheer force from Caparaja's regular form. Only Mega now has it, which means that if you're running like a Sunfest Caparaja, your moves like Double Iron Bash, your Rock Slides will be much weaker, which is pretty bad, right? And then obviously the alternative, if you're running Mega Caparaja, you don't even resist flying anymore because you're a fighting type now, which is pretty shit. However, you have Assault Vest Muck with, Regenerator to take on Hurricanes, and have Lama Mola to take Brave Birds especially well since it has a lot of health, which means that those Brave Bird users will be taking a fuck ton of recoil if they decide to, click that on you. Another place that this team struggles with, I think, is Ghost. Now, this team really doesn't have a sturdy Ghost resist at all. The only immunities and resist are Braviary, which isn't very bulky, and Sylvan Cloudster, which again, not very bulky. Neither of these Pokemon can Pursuit Trap or anything, which is pretty ass in my opinion. Now, another place I think this team struggles with is Dark for a similar reason. You don't have a sturdy Dark resist. Gapdash is extremely frail, same with Cloudster is a little bit less, but it's still very frail. Rock is also kind of meh, because though you do have Donphan and Lamamon, which can take on those rock types very well. That's just specially attacking a rock, so I can't really name a specially attacking a rock type off the top of my head that was drafted, so right. Now, obviously, there's Alamamala Muck can take most neutral hits very well. However, it's kind of a similar issue to Grunko's team, where you only have two Pokemon taking on so many types that your team is weak to that they can definitely get overwhelmed, right? Though I feel like on Grunko's team, Alamamala and Muck are so much better defensively. That's it's not it's not as much of an issue in my opinion, right? While Grunko's two Pokemon Moltres and Samurott, that were the two Pokemon. But yeah, while Juicy's team does have that similar issue overall, Alomomola and Muck are fantastic Pokemon, even if Muck doesn't have Cough, and you know, it's definitely way more defensively sound overall. Whatever. Speedsters on this team are pretty solid, right? You've got strong, 125 speedster, very fast, right? 110 speedster is also great. In terms of everything here, aside from the two base ADs, very nicely spaced out speedsters here, right? And then mid section here, pretty damn good speedsters, right? If you look at this team generally, it tells you you've got good layers, hazards, right? Aside from spikes, the spiker's pretty shit. It's not Galady. Right, Glader's just not a good spiker at all, but it's a nice to have an option there, right? The defoggers and spinners, great. Donphan and Mo are both good, removal options, right? Momentum is like okay, right? Elon Musk is one of the best flip turners. I'm sure Motom and Elon Musk can make a very respectable Volta make defensive core. Right, you also got Colwitzer and Braviary that can both pivot around. You can, if you're like brave enough, you can use teleport, Gap Dash. That can definitely put in the work. If you're looking at item removal, very good removal actually. Although Momola is one of the better like knockoff users, like defensive knockoff users. Simon Close I can maybe use it on like a sticky web bulkier set, right? For example, Don Fan also good knockoff user, right? And all have like offensive knockoff users, right? So it's like Clones obviously is a special attacker, so it's like knockoff doing 2 damage, but I think it's fine, right? The stance is also okay, right? Obviously Moton is a perfect like wisp T-wave user, but like that's kind of it. Like I mean, I guess Shiwashi can maybe wisp, but I definitely don't think it'd be good. Gap Dash is a fast wisp user, right? Steam definitely shines in priority though, right? Great priority and Excel Rock. You got Aqua Jet, you got Refrigerate Fake Out, you've got quick attack, quick attack. You've got Donphan Ice Shard, right? Shadow Sneak on Sucker Punch, like all great priority options, honestly, right? Yeah, very good like priority options. Yeah, and finally like loads of taunt users, good phasing, haze, right? Overall, I absolutely believe this is one of the best teams in this draft. Obviously, again, it has some places of false flat like those type matchups, but you know the two Pokemon that consistently check those types are actually very good. And Muck and Lomomola, team has got speed tiers, team has good utility, just good Pokemon all around, I'd say, right? Looking forward to see how this team like fares in the league. It's a very good one. Now, anyways, though, I'll be going over to the next team now. Now, the next team I'll be going over is Millie's team. Now, firstly, I'll obviously go over the Sandaconda because it is a new Radical Red Mega Evolution, which has Aerolate, absolutely colossal defense, and good attack with a pretty okay speed to 81 is just like 10 slower than Landorus, for example, to put on comparison with another ground flying type that you'd see. Also has return, similar to like every Pokemon in Radical Red now. Also has quick attack, which I believe is a new addition. Yep, quick attack is a new addition, which is pretty fucking cool on this thing. Right? It has still has those same as coil sets as Galare. Right? Very hard to revenge kill if you're. Jesus Christ, that scared the shit out of me. Someone fell in my room. But yeah. But yeah, those coil sets are pretty much impossible to check out by physical attackers after you click coil with that 160 defense, right? Like if your special attackers are dead, this thing is just going to fucking sweep. No other way around this, right? Going over the rest of the team, Slowbro didn't gain anything around the core red, still an amazing Pokemon. Togekiss has Aeroblast now, which with Super Luck has really good odds at critting. Makes it very hard to wall with 120 special attack. Empoleon gets Make a Rain, which makes its calm mindset that bit more potent. Just overall, makes it more threatening on the field, right? Very good typing to Water Steel. Skelders didn't gain anything, I believe. Right, enough to know here. Same with my neck trick. Rosary got a lot of stuff. I'm gonna quickly go over that right now. Rosary, yeah. Got Poison Touch, Draining Kiss, Ancient Power, Applause, Clutchmog, and Silverwind. All very cool additions. Also, just has a lot of tools I can actually use to complement that Technician ability. Like, for example, it has Flash, which is now our strongest Thunderbolt. Also has there's Mega Drain, which is a 60 base power move, which obviously boosted by Technician. It's stronger than Giga Drain, very cool stuff, right? And like it's actually pretty strong, right? It's one of like the strongest grass poison type, so like that's cool. Cliff didn't gain anything, still a good Pokemon though. Chinchino got Tidy Up, I'm pretty sure that's already a vanilla, so like disregard that. Surfetch got Sharpness, and I believe we got something else. Surfetched, oh yeah, I got Sharpness, HP buff, Sacred Sword, Tailwind, Reversed, Power Up, Punch, Draw, and a Cut. So it has like a real sharpness move pull I can use, right? It has a leak boost too. Not the broken Farfetch'd one, but it gets that 1.2 times crit ratio. Pretty like cool stuff. You want to run that. Yeah, like yeah, Secret Sword, Leaf Blade, cut. All of those are cool sharpness boosted moves, and it's already like very strong at 135. That's like actually very strong, right? Now, looking at this team's type matchups, however, I feel like this is where the team definitely falls flat. The first thing you'll notice is the crippling ground weakness. Now, I feel like generally speaking, if your team is weak to one type, it should never be ground. It's like probably the like second worst typing to be weak to. That's not like dragon, right? I've played against drafts that are ground weak, and I've played with a draft that dragon weak, and trust me, neither of these are good. Obviously, this team's not dragon weak, but I'm going to talk about ground, right? Having a ground weak draft is so awful. You literally can't do anything against Earthquake. Now, obviously, if this Sandaconda's mega, with like a flying typing, it's obviously immune, and it's actually a very good ground check by virtue of just being so weak and so, I mean, not weak, what am I saying, by being so fucking bulky and so strong, but, like, you know, like, I don't know, like, this thing also has no reliable recovery, so, like, you can't even use it as, like, a sturdy check over the course of, like, a drawn-out game. Slowbro is also, like, a good ground check, but, like, choiced ground types will definitely just like blow this thing up anyways, honestly, right? Like even if this thing gets like chipped over the course of a game, like Susan doesn't even resist, it's like it can still be very exploitable, and like you know god forbid the ground type run something like Pasha Berry to counter this Pokemon, in which case it's just cooked, like you know what I mean. There's also the team's ghost weakness. It's pretty fucking bad as well, since you only resist this Chinchino, and like Chinchino is like bad as in like switching just in general. Like nothing switches into ghost moves here. Like Sandaconda is like the only ghost switch in here. It's like and it's only like for Poltergeist or Shadow Claws, right? You also have like Togekiss as being like your best Shadow Ball switch on this team, honestly, if we're just talking about purely about stats. And it's like really good, you know what I mean? Like it's Togekiss being your own best Shadow Ball switch, and it's kind of just embarrassing, honestly. I feel like this team could definitely draft like a ghost or like ground resist during the 24-hour grace period. That could have definitely saved this draft. Right. Another thing that I feel like this team I'm gonna just go over very briefly right now, but going over I'm pretty sure in a little bit more details, like the fact that this team has two like bulky water types that do pretty much the same ass shit. I feel like this was definitely pretty stupid in my opinion. I feel like drafting like something instead of Empoleon could have been much better. Like Scizor was still available, still is available, right? Like that could have definitely been better. Now looking at this Peters, this where this team also kind of struggles. 115 to 90 speed gap is not good when like base 110s are more often than not so fucking strong, right? They can run like modest very easily. They can run loads of HP EVs very easily, right? Unless they're trying to like predict something like Scarf Surfetched, which well actually you don't even have to speed Scarf Surfetched anyways, so that's not even like a great point, right? So honestly, it's like you know what I mean. I don't really like it personally. Now looking at this team's utility, this is a pretty good spot this team is at. Like there's a lot of good utility this team has aside from momentum. Like yeah, the hazard setting is pretty good. You got good hazards overall, right? You got good removal. You've got like honestly pretty mediocre momentum. You're only well actually no, Slowbro and Poe are good pivots. It's just the fact that they're both the same. It's literally like pretty much the same defensive profile where I don't like it as much, right? Like yeah, like flip like yeah, these are like good, but they're literally the same typing, and that is something I'll go over soon. Knockoff is solid, right? Like Empoleon is a decent knockoff user. It's just that Empo's pretty famously has pretty terrible form without syndrome, so I doubt I'll be able to fit that knockoff often. It has very good status. You've got like a bit of everything. Only one Wisp user, but Skeldridge is a fantastic Wisp user. So honestly, it's not like the end of the world in my opinion. And this team's priority is like pretty bad, but it's not terrible. Surfetch with first impression can definitely do some work with that 145 attack, and Sandaconda with air late quick attack can definitely dent some like team, for example, like Revenge Kill some things for sure. As team's disruptor, no taunt is pretty notable, but that's and like your only stat removal being Curse Mark is tough, but like you can definitely overcome this. It's just like it's pretty bad, but overall though, I think this team definitely struggles on a lot of aspects. The aforementioned Slobber and Empoleon, like one of these definitely should have been like swapped out during grace period. I just don't see the point of keeping both these Pokemon. Like, yes, I know like Empoleon is a more specially defensive water type, while Slobber is more physical defensive, but I still believe Empa should have been swapped out for like Scizor and like any other steel type. Just maybe like yeah, no, it doesn't even need to be a steel when you already have like Klefki, but like Klefki's not amazing, but like whatever, right? Like this instead of like and like one of these could have been like a ground resist, right? Like you got the speed tier struggle, you got the ground and ghost struggle, right? Like yeah, this is another part where I believe Scizor would have been better instead of Empoleon because like you would have had at least pursuit um on your team, which definitely could have solved this ghost predicament. Like I don't believe any of these Pokemon have pursuit, which is just so bad. Like every team you're going against is just gonna be cooking Shadow Ball for free, like Earthquake for free, like Choice Band Earthquake, and like you're not gonna be able to like do anything against it, right? Especially even like Sandaconda, and you see like Mega in the first place. So if you have a Mega your Sandaconda early, you're gonna be taking a gigantic like Choice Earthquake, for example. Like every time it's just such a like pointless struggle when there could have been like such easy like fixes that could have completely prevented these like struggles from happening offensively as well. There I don't know, like offensively I think this team is like pretty fine. Sandaconda, Mega Sandaconda's an amazing win con on like, but like honestly I feel like that's like the only good like great win con on this team. Like Togekiss can nasty, but I think it's too slow to like sweep teams, for example. Like Skeldritch can technically click like Torch Song to sweep, but it's so hard to make this thing sweep reliably unless the opposing team just doesn't have a good super effective move for this for some like ungodly reason. Whereas like Chinchilla can tidy up as well, but like normal type is just such an exploitable stab. Like especially tail slap, like you're just put a Rocky Helmet on your team and this thing just does nothing to your team anymore. Now I'll be going over to the next team now though, right? Overall, definitely below average, has a lot of weaknesses that could have definitely been prevented in the drafting process. But like whatever, right? We'll see when the league starts if these truly hold up or not. And next team I'll be going over is sorry I had to adjust my mic, is Ufio's team. Right, I may notice that Silvali's name here is a little bit shiny, is because if I roll this up here, you see that the Silvally has 3 quote-unquote terror types. Actually, Silvally has a rule in this draft league where it can only run 3 types. I'll go over the reason as to why that is when I get to it, right? I'll actually go over like pretty much right now. First, I just want to mention that Gengar gets Levitation and Radical Red. I'm pretty sure I also got Aura Sphere. Every single Focus Blast user got Aura Sphere alongside, which is just a nice buff, right? But yeah, now I'll be going over Silvally because Silvally is definitely like one of the greatest buffed like Pokemon, right? This Pokemon got 100 base across the board, and additionally, the most important part in my opinion is that Silvally is no longer locked to a shit item. So for example, if you wanted to draft Silvally Flying, which was previously extremely fucking Mickey Mouse item, and you can run boots on it, for example, and like now you got like an extremely strong like flying type attacker. Ufia drafted Fairy, Ground, and Fire, which for reasons I'll be going over when the type matchup section is probably one of the best options that I went for with the Silvally, right? Both like very good offensive and defensive Silvallies in my opinion. Right, Run and Wash, always great Pokemon. Also get Skull now, and like Surf, I believe, and just very, like, yeah, buffs, big buffs to an already great Pokemon. Ace Healthcare, I think it got, like, I know it got something, no, I don't think it got anything, no, Ace Health didn't get anything yet, it was the other ones that got buffs, but Ace Health got nothing, right. Electrified got some big buffs, right? I'm just gonna go over right now. Electrified, oh yeah. First I got Iron Fist. Secondly I got a new signature item. It's Electorizer, right? You know, the evolution item, which now gives fighting type moves a 50% buff. It's basically as if you get like, you know, stab on fighting type moves at the cost of an item slot, which is like honestly kind of shit in my opinion, but like whatever, man, right? It's like it's cool to have. You got Plasma Fist, Drain Punch, Mach Punch, Close Combat, and Aura Sphere too, right? All great Wolf Bull buffs, right? And also, you know, synergize with that Electorizer item. Porygon 2 is like, you know, just always a very sound, special, special, just like a, yes, a special attacker, but like mostly like a defensive Pokemon with that Violet, right? And just very good bulk already, right? You know, got good ability in trace, download, not analytic, right? You can just run very bulky or like offensive ones like download or analytic, and they're very strong. Fortress, good defensive Pokemon here. Credilli is also great. I also got Stampy Seed as a new move, which is like a 95 base power move that also sets Leech Seed. It's like a Let's Go EV move, which is very cool. You've got Guzzlord, which got massive buffs. It got Parting Shot, Sucker Punch, Pursuit. It got 20 in defense and speed. Speed and 20 in defense and speed def at the cost of 20 speed and 20 HP, which is just an overall mainly which is overall a big buff to its bulk, right? Dark Aura also buffs its offense significantly, right? You know, the Dark Stamp is much stronger now, you know, which is more often than not its best moves, right? You know, the knockout, that Sucker Punch. Pretty sure also got Honklas. If I just check Guzzlord, no, it doesn't. What they get? What's the Guzzlord? Oh, it's Power Up Punch, I guess, which is also its move. Very cool buff to Guzzlord. I found a Sneasel. Oh, Sneasel got some big buffs in Radical Red. Similar to like Sneasler. It got regular Sneasel got Frisk. Poison Touch. Very like Frisk in particular. Again, cool draft league ability to have, right? Inner and still has that inner focus obviously, right? Has knockoff, Mach Punch, Drain Punch, Cut, and Pursuit. Oh, cool. I'm excluding Ice Punch because it does get Ice Punch and Radical Red, right? It just puts it here for some reason, right? Now, as for the type matchups, and this is where I think the team definitely falls flat, right? I think the type matchups for this team are pretty shit all around, right? You've got like a lot of resist with few types, and almost every other type struggles. Like most other types struggle, right? Dragon, your only resist is like Fortress and your Silvally. Like Fairy, your only resist is like your Fortress, like your very frail Gengar, and your Silvally. Fighting has a lot of weaknesses. Your resists are extremely frail, except your Silvally. Fire, you only have two actually sturdy resists, and your Silvally. You've got Ice. You only have two, like, you know, well, the resists are sound, but you know, you also have your Silvally as your option, and finally Rock literally only has one resist, and your Silvally. You'll notice our general trend here, it's kind of similar to Grunko's team. It's literally one Pokemon patching up most of its weaknesses, right? Like, you know, you have you know, Silvally patching up so many of these weaknesses, I think is a pretty, unlike Fortress as well, it's pretty like shit in my opinion, right? I think that's a pretty awful um like weakness with this draft, right? However, speeders are okay, right? Well, not okay. I think the speeders I think are pretty good, right? It's a pretty damn fast draft. Azov, it's and Hassoon Sneasel 115 is very cool. I have two options there. It's just nice. You got like your 110, you have your 100, and you have like decently spaced out speed tiers from here, right? Like it's all right. Yeah. Moving up onto the you know, general utility. This team has good hazard hazard setting. It's pretty good. Your defog options for the best ones at Wash. Fortress is a very sound rapid spinner. Your pivoting is actually great, right? One of the better pivoting teams better pivoting in this entire draft league actually. Your knockoff users are also pretty good. Itself is a good knockoff user, right? If you run like a utility set or even like a choice band set or even maybe a scarf set, like a physically oriented, like the fire's okay. Gengar probably never uses it, but like I guess you could. Right, so if you're using like a more util Gengar, without like nasty plot or something like that, like a non-choice Gengar, that's someone to like sweep. Guzzlord knockoff is one of the best knockoff users in general. It's so strong with Darkora, and Sneasel is cool with knockoff. Good Thunder Waving and good Wisping because Run and Wash is one of the best Wisp users in general, and your party is okay, right? Obviously Guzzlord Sucker Punch is super strong, and you also have like Mach Punch on Sneasel and Electrify, which aren't particularly strong, but it's like guess it's an option, right? And your Disruption is like okay. However, only having one Roar user and one Dragon Tail user I think really sucks, right? But Silvally like obviously can have free whole ass types, which I think like balances that out. Overall though, I think this team is like I don't like it honestly. I think this is one of the like weaker drafts in this league for sure, if not the weakest. Right, that the type matchups have just so many weaknesses, and like Silvally has to like solve so many of them, and it's like really annoying, right? Like Aesop and Gengar I also think kind of a little bit overlap, right? And like fast special attacker, right? I think that's pretty ass too, but you do have some strong picks too, like against Silvally of those types is great, right? Run and Wash. But yeah, like I think Silvally will probably be really good to like defensive role most games because you're just weak to so much, right? You also like you know, other like cool options like Fortress P2, right? Like, but I definitely think this is like a great draft. It's nothing like crazy, right? Now I'll be going over the next draft now. Now, this is like one of the last few teams, right? Moving on to the next though is Connie's team. Now, obviously, before going over this, I'll go over the Lapras because Lapras is actually a Mega Lapras. It's abilities Liquid Voice, which also gets Boom Burst with Liquid Voice. However, Liquid Voice also boosts the moves it's affected by, so obviously it's a 1.2 times boosted Boom Burst, like 168 base power. It's super strong. Also got new typing Water Dragon and some like Dragon type moves to accompany like Draco Meteor and all that, right? It still gets its like still keeps its ice coverage to like freeze dry, and that's being very like cool to have. So I was like very solid coverage, like Thunderbolt, alright, like psychic noise. It's got liquid voice. Psychic noise is also pretty neat too, right? Like if it's run like a more bulky Lapras set of like Toxic and like Protect, for example, those sets exist, right? Very great Pokemon here, and also has a very nice stance spreading here, right? With like high special attack, with that liquid voice, very cool, right? Now, I'll go over the picks. Cobalion is one of the strongest Pokemon on this entire board. It's got a huge like utility, and also its shit attacking stats are fixed by sharpness for the most part, given the dual stabs and cut and second sword. Also has like air slash, air cutter, um, aerial ace to like benefit from sharpness. Very cool Pokemon, right? And then also kind of got another super strong pick in Crocodile, which has Wicked Blow now. As if it wasn't already such a fantastic drafted Pokemon, it's even stronger now. It's that still got that super strong like ability to intimidate Moxie, right? Great typing, right? You've got a formatted Lapras. Electro got a lot of buffs. Nobody like Galvanize, which with like Hyper Voice or Tri Attack, I believe it has. Can run those like slightly stronger electric moves. So it also has like a slightly buffed attack stack, and Explosion is buffed to where it's 150 base power but has defense on calculation similar to old gens, right? You got Charizard, which is pretty dog shit pick. I got like Fire Lash, but like obviously this is regular Zard, so it has pretty dog shit attack. Iron Treads didn't get buffed, but still Iron Treads. Amogus, it's just Amogus, just no buffs I think either. It's just a good Pokemon still. Miss Maggie got some big buffs though. It got plus 10 HP and defense. It got a Fairy typing and Moonblast, which makes it a lot cooler, right? It's like Flutter Mane but bad basically, right? But like it's actually still good. So like you won't call it. I don't know. It's right to call it floor main but bad if it's still good. Vicoval's gets Thunderclap, which makes a lot more its offensive sets of like Bug Buzz, Fruit Spray a lot more respectable now since you can bypass that counterplay nicely, whereas you still hit those like grounds with energy balls, usual like and also has Sticky Web, which honestly doesn't even help this team that much with anything aside from Lapras and Crook. Right, so it's a point. Finally, you got Colossal, which Colossal's not exactly a good Pokemon. Also, but it's a nice like lower tier utility Pokemon. Also got a lot of buffs with Burning Bulwark, Hydro Steam, Power Jam, Flash Cannon, Steel Beam. Right, Flash Cannon, Steel Beam are because Colossal has a Mega Evolution that's Fire Steel, but they drafted Raw Colossal. Right, not it's much of a different Mega Colossal shit. Right, like those coverage options are nice for it and all. Now, looking at this team's type matchups, there's a few like mild weaknesses that this team has. Firstly, there's Water, which while you do have some good resist on Mungus and Lapras, Lapras 4 types resist it, even in Mega and Amoonguss is also fantastic resist. A lot of those waters do pack ice coverage, which hits Amoonguss super effectively, hits Lapras super effectively, which is not ideal. And while you do have an Electro that can revenge kill most like setup waters, it's still definitely a like mild concern to have in my opinion. There's really like there's also ice technically, but the issue but like not I wouldn't really call this team I won't say this team has a nice weakness because Colossal deters like any triple XL usage because Flame Body exists and excuse me, and Cobalion does eat those hits for free, and then threatens back with a sharpness boosted cut, or like threatens a swords dance. Like landing Cobalion for free generally just is not like that great, right? Though if you can somehow bypass the Cobalion, then your ice moves will likely go wild, and like Colossus still not a very great Pokemon, even if it is extremely physically bulky. Um, you could point out that this team doesn't have many ghost resists. However, I feel like that's not really that much of an issue because at the end of the day, you always have a crocodile to pursuit trap this. Every single pursuit trap those ghost types like pretty much every time. So honestly, it's like not even that much of an issue in my opinion, right? And honestly, that's kind of it in the type matchup. There's nothing else that's like particularly striking. You could like try like nitpick and say that grounds don't have any resist, only immunities, but I don't really think that's too much of an issue because Among Us is a good ground resist, even ground switching, even if it doesn't actually resist because it's Among Us. Right, and what else? But you also have Lapras on the team, which can always definitely eat a hit because Micro Lapras is colossally bulky, and just blows you up with Liquid Voice Boom Burst. Right, right. Looking at the speed tiers, I think Wonders Love fast Pokemon, I think it's actually kind of annoying because like all of them are literally like crowded between like 100 and 110. Like not a single Pokemon over 110 and above is pretty awful. While you have just some Pokemon between 100 and 108, which I just think is just pointless. I think a lot of these Pokemon should have been a base 110 above, right? Like just one of these guys. Electro obviously is base 150, like pretty damn fast, but like it's still Electro. It's not exactly well, it's stronger than my shit Zipstrike. Zipstrike, so I can't say much, but you know, having your only speed to be like Electrode, which is just like a electric type only Pokemon, is like right? And and then after Crook, you're like gigantic like speed tier gap at the Lapras. Pretty sure Lapras are base 70, yeah, base 70, right? And then there's probably one like despite how fast this team is, I just don't really like this team's speed tiers at all. Or just too many Pokemon, too much of a similar speed tier threshold, and none of them hit like the one speed tier like break point that they would want to hit. As for this team's utility, I think it's very good. Loads of good rockers, good sticky web user. Colossal being a spiker is like only spiker is like tough, but Colossal isn't like useless. You can definitely bring up like a game or two, and it'll probably get those like a layer or two up, and it'll do it pretty decently, especially like burning bulwark is an annoying move, you know, so you guarantee the burn against instead of trying to fish for it or just kind of wisp like a normal person, right? You also have okay removal. Well, okay, why am I kidding, right? You have fucking Iron Trez, one of the best removals in all of Pokemon history. Collins are the shit removal as well. Electrode is also good core changes there, which is really nice, right? You've got solid momentum, right? Shreds and Cobalion, great pivoting. Then you have Fika Vault is like okay, I guess if you're like a spec set and then like I don't know, right? You can like use like a um electric resist and just full switch on them and just like keep up the momentum, right? If that electric resist for some reason isn't the ground, of course, but like I get it because like obviously an energy ball, you know what I mean, right? Knockoff users are sparse, but they're two amazing ones. Like Trez and Crook are fantastic cough users, so like honestly, who cares, right? Stance is okay, and priority on this team is it's not that great, right? Thunderclap, Fika Vault, and it's kind of the only one. Eyeshard Lapras is like okay if you're like a Dragon Dance set or like just generally a physically attacking set, but like I don't know, right? It's not crazy, right? Vacuum of Cobalion is pretty shit too, because like so obviously like you're still weak as fuck if you're not that sharp, if you're not like sharpness boosted, only 90 base power, right? And your like disruption is good overall, right? Clear Smog being your only hazing is pretty shit because again those like um the spooky steals will be pretty tough if they're like signing up, right? Though like this is again like Zard and Cole are like good overall. I think this team is just alright, right? It has enough good Pokemon like Combat Croc, Shreds, Mungus, Mismagius, right? Amazing Pokemon. Did I mention Lapras? Lapras, yeah. Like I said, I mentioned it, right? But some issues like that. Speedter's been pretty ass, and like, you know, um, I think there's like a few things that fall flat for this team, but like the individual Pokemon are good, right? Good special attackers and good physical attackers, right? Like this team has everything that it wants, except like that base 110 spit tier, right? Which I think is definitely gonna bring this team down a lot, right? Those base 110s are definitely gonna like prey on this team and gonna be very annoying unless you run like a Scaffer, right? Feel unnecessary picks like Zard. I think Zard is completely useless on this team. I don't know why this team drafted. This Pokemon is shit, right? Especially since I think it's like a 6 pounder or something stupidly overpriced. Yeah, it's like a 6 pounder. I don't know, like this Pokemon's not great, right? Though I guess like you can still run like Hurricane Zard and it's probably like okay, like but I don't like this Pokemon at all, right? Yeah. Now I'll be going over to the next team. Now the next team I'll be going over is Spidopsis team. Now to go over quickly the changes. I don't think Superior really got anything notable, but lost aromatherapy, which is like sad. Drapion is Drapion's own edition is Sniper Wicked Blow, right? But that's Sniper Wicked Blow. It's stupidly strong, right? This thing like picks up chaos so easily, like wins so many like lead like 1v1s, right? Like like this Pokemon is stupidly strong. Quagsire got actually a buff, believe it or not, I got stat buff as well, right? 5 in HP and defense helps a lot, right? In a world where there's so many like better unaware users than it now, right? Though there's not, well, yeah, just in general, right? Helps it out a lot, right? Tinkaton is, I don't I think Tink got a buff, but I can't, oh yeah, I got an attack buff, right? I got a nice attack buff and a defense buff actually. Nothing else, but very cool. Buffs to Tinkaton makes its like offensive sets more legit. Since Tinkaton's on like 75, it's like a 10 attack buff. Nothing crazy, but you know, it's on 10 in defense, which helps out a lot, right? Makes him much better than it already is, and especially in like the draft league setting, right? Mold Breaker's a great ability. Less pickpocket, but like who cares, right? Pickpocket shit, but like whatever, right? But this Machamp is a Mega, right? I've got to mention that. Mega Machamp is a cool Pokemon, has a new ability from corny JoJo name, but it's basically Gen 6 Parental Bond, but it only affects punching moves, which is like which are usually just its best moves anyways, right? It has a really nice stat spread of 145 attack, which is stupidly strong. You got very good defenses actually, and like an okay speed 2 at 75, right? You also have Power Punch. I believe that's a new addition to it. Matchup, yeah. No, it's actually not. But like, it has like 2-hit Drain Point, 2-hit Mach Punch. This Pokemon is very strong, and it has like that big like punch coverage moves, and like you got Ice Punch, you got Fire Punch, right? I know Fire Punch uses on this, but like Ice Punch is really nice. Whereas like you got like Thunder Punch as well. So that's fine types, right? If Ice Punch doesn't suffice, right? It's like a very underrated Pokemon. I've seen a lot of people like dunk on this thing, but honestly, I think this is a great Pokemon, right? I actually did some prep games with Spite-Ups, and this thing hits so hard. You give this thing one free turn with like a Power Punch, and this thing goes stupid, right? You get a fucking it's like the same shit as Mega Kangaskhan. You get like a free like Sword Stance with Power Punch, except that it's Stab, and it's even stronger, right? Since it, has an actual attack stat, unlike shit Mega Kangaskhan, and then it goes fucking stupid on you, right? Especially if you get like Drain Punch recovery. Then, whew, God forbid, what will happen to you, right? And that has like good bulk. Run Fangor Hurricane, and also Levitate got replaced with Mortar Drive, which gives it that extra electric immunity, right? Replace that useless Levitate ability, right? Very cool, right? And Rotom form is still Rotom form, has like huge utility. Definitely got Magic Guard, and also got Mind Blown, but that's complex band, so it actually doesn't, right? It's a very cool Pokemon in my opinion, right? It's relatively fast, it's relatively strong, has good coverage, pretty hard to wall, right? Especially if you run like Magic Life Orb, then it's just like stupidly strong. Second Avalog, it's actually a really cool Pokemon in my opinion. Oh, excuse me. It got Technician and Accelerock and Ice Shard, which lets it bypass the horrible speed, right? Like its curse sets are a lot more threatening now that has that. Now that it has that like, what's it called? Priority that I can use, right? You can't just like come in with your fire type to just click flame from them because you'll just get Accelerocked, and like it's very like threatening. Same with like a ground type, you can't just come in and click Earth Power on your like special ground type, you can just get Ice Shrouded, right? And it's actually very strong because I'm pretty sure it got an attack buff like 132. It used to be, I need to check, it's to be it's like a 5 buff. It's like not crazy, but like it's notable enough. Once it got Skull Bash, it's got buffed, so it's not bulk up booster, no, just +1 defense, right? So you can just run like a more offensive, like just Skull Bash, get that big hit off, similar to like um you know Power Herb like Celesteela, which is obviously significantly worse, but right? Simian Lokix is a new Pokemon that really don't need expensive Pokemon much. It's basically just Lokix, but with a Dragon type instead of a Deck type, and like with no Deck type coverage. Basically, Lokix if he had no swag, this Pokemon is just like, but though like still has that first impression, that's all it really needs, right? Nothing too crazy about this Pokemon. I also has Dragon Dance, I guess, which is cool, but like I was like, it's alright. Smeargle still Smeargle, obviously didn't get anything with Smeargle, only needs one move, it's fucking Sketch. And finally, Spiritomb got Intimidate and Parting Shot, however lost Trick Room, which is pretty tough, right? But which got synergized really well with Avalog, but whatever. Right, looking at this team's defensive checks, while obviously you might notice a lot of rock weaknesses, a lot of good rock resists to patch that up. You've got Quagsire, Tinker, Mega Machamp, all deal with those very, very well, in my opinion. Likewise, like with Fairy, have Tinker and Delphox deal with Fairies decently enough. Right, you also have like Drapion that can cook a Poison Jab on it, or even if you don't resist, it's still like good offensive counterplay. Right. Oh, excuse me. Unlike Sivian Lokix and like Jesus Christ, fucking Sivian Lokix can like first impression, like kill like a chipped fairy type, for example. Right, something like that. Not too many like weaknesses. Right, like fire doesn't have too many resists, but it's like fine because Quag is amazing, and especially attacking fairies might be very annoying for his team though, because like again, your only real like fire resist is a physically defensive one, significantly less special bulky. So I'd watch out, right? Especially since you don't have those like great like blanket checks to like a fire type. I mean, Spirit Tube kind of work, but like what Spirit Tube do back really, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, aside from like those few like minor nitpicks, I think it's like a very sound team, right? Defensively, looking at the speed tiers, this is where the team falls flat, right? This is the slowest team in the draft league, and your high speed tier is fucking garbage. It's superior, right? Which literally has no base power at the on the first turn in, right? Until it cooks that leaf storm, it's like you can't really use it. It's like if you're trying to use it to revenge kill something using its speed tier, can't really do that well because most time it's gonna be too weak to really get that kill off like anything like Dragon Pulse. Even like leaf storm sometimes, honestly, like 75 base power leaf storm is so fucking weak, right? Before you get that contrary boost, right? So the team is extremely slow. However, obviously, like pretty sound defensively, so I think it's fucking fine. Looking at this team's utility though, it's pretty good, right? You've got Spikes, Quags there. Doesn't show here, but I just want to point that out. Also, I'll still keep T Spikes, so like Quag got that amazing hazard utility, right? Other good starters like Tinkaton. Have a look. Drapion can set toxic spikes on a free turn in case like the opposing team has a good fighting type, right? That can resist its Wicked Block and instead just click toxic spikes on a free turn and make things a lot more difficult for the enemy. Pretty good removal in defog fan and spin Avalog isn't amazing obviously because it's still Avalog even with its buffs. But it's nice, right? Momentum is where this team I think falls low flat as well, right? Obviously you have Sophian low kicks, which is probably one of the better pivots, but that's really it. And also have Run Fan I guess, but like I guess the same is pretty well with like low kicks, because well I guess not kind of yeah. You also have Delphox teleport if you like build to collect like teleport on like a choice set for example. That could be cool. You have really good knockoff users actually. Machamp, Tinkaton. I'd say Drapion, but honestly Drapion will rather click Wicked Blow 100% of the time, so like, this probably won't be clicking knockoff as much, right? Also on like a choice set maybe, in which case you can just have a free slot for like knockoff, maybe, right? Styles with this team is like well not alright, it's actually good, right? You got good Thunderwave, you got great Wisp, and you have Yawn as well, which is very cool. This team also has a very major priority to similarly to my team, deal with that lack of speed. You have Hisuian Avalog Accelerock, you got Bullet Punch, you got First Impression, Ice Shard, Mach Punch, Shadow Sneak, Sucker Punch, right? All amazing priority options, right? And for also deals with your quote unquote rock weakness. Again, I'm not calling this a rock weakness, but like I mean like you can deal with those rock types if you really with like Mach Punch if you really want to call it that a rock weakness, right? I also got Bullet Punch for like fairies, I guess. If like your tongue gets overwhelmed, you got like other things, right? Like the fuck. There we go. Right, yeah. And like obviously you got great disruption, right? Good encore users, good haze, good roar, right? Overall, I definitely think this team's good, right? The speed tiers are pretty terrible, but between the great defensive core and the good priority, I think this team has definitely warmed up to me, right? I used to think this team was pretty bad. Might cut out, but yeah, like what was I saying? I was talking about the like how good the team was. Yeah, like I don't think it was bad. It was just a little bit lower tier. Honestly, now I've been thinking about it. Honestly, like this team has good tools of dealing with its shit speed tiers. Right, I'm looking forward to how Spud Ups pivots this team actually because it's actually pretty fun looking team between like cool picks like Hifsu and Avalok, probably one of my favorite picks this entire draft league. Right, you got like also Smeargle can definitely run like sticky web on like a matchup or two and patch up the shit speed tiers very well, right? Let Drapion and Delphox shine very like well, especially Machamp. Machamp on their web sounds crazy, right? But yeah, now, we've got one team left, so I'll go over it right now. Now, the final team I'm looking over for this video is Naga's team. Now, going over the changes, Mega Pidgeot got Focus Blast, which makes it even more obnoxious to deal with, since obviously, you can't wall it as well with Steels and Rocks anymore, since, Focus Blast is much stronger than Heat Wave. Very annoying to deal with. Slowking, just that, just basic, very basic, just pivot, no new changes. Rotom Heat got Lava Plume and Flamethrower. I've personally used this Pokemon in another draft league, and let me tell you, this Pokemon is so fucking amazing with those moves, right? A lot of Muck got Penny Shot. I think got someone else, but you couldn't care enough to check. But like yeah, Penny Shot, this Pokemon is great, right? Gives it like even more like good pivoting, right? Hisuian Sligo, you might wonder why this was picked so early. It's only a 2-pointer, but it got Wish, it got Stealth Rocks, I think it got something else, but like those two additions alone are honestly very fucking good on this Pokemon, right? Especially Wish, gives it that recovery, right? And rocks make it much less passive because Hlugo like already used to be like a solid like lower tier like defensive Pokemon, but honestly, it's way too passive. So um, these additions assist in making it slightly less passive by threatening with rocks whenever it comes in, right? Citra got some good buffs. It got tinted lens, it got speed increase at the cost of sight, speed depth, and special attack nerfs. But honestly, no one's running this thing, especially, so who gives a shit, right? It also got thousand arrows, which is really cool. I think it got someone else as well. Let me check this. I got bulk up, which is actually pretty cool. Though swords dance, I feel like most of the time will always be better, anyways, right? Um, Water Taurus, don't think got anything. I think got like a special attack buff, but that was just to make it consistent with regular Tauros and combat Tauros getting a special attack buff, so I can use those like sheer force life for the special coverage, right? Doesn't need special coverage, there's nothing for this, right? Amazing draft Pokemon of Timidate, Gluttony, instead of Kachu, because Kachu's not in this game, right? So Gluttony takes its place. Lone Sandslash got an attack and defense as well buff, I think. But I think I could definitely confirm the attack buff, right? I'm not sure on the defense. I can actually just check that right now instead of being a fucking lazy bum. Yeah, it's just an attack buff. I also got Ice Scales and Spike Shield. Spike Shield uses, but like Ice Scales is very awesome. Patches up his duck shit death, right? It also synergizes unless he was Slowking, since obviously Slowking uses trigger reception. Unknown Sunsash can use Slush Rush with its buffed attack and be very threatening under that weather. Flygon is an amazing pick in this draft league. It's one of the best, in my opinion. Tintalas is banned on it, Complex banned because I think I'm way to broke it. Otherwise, but like even let me compound eyes, let's say using new moves like I've never used before, like Dragon Rush and Iron Tail, much more consistent, like 97% accurate. And I also got some new buffs, other new buffs I mean, I'll actually look them up for you, because it's actually a good bit. It got Sincere Storm and Headlong Rush, aside from those. Oh, I also got a HP and special attack buff, which makes those buffs bigger. And obviously Sincere Storm got the aforementioned G Storm accuracy buff, which makes it a lot more consistent, especially if it's run Compound Eyes, right? Though it doesn't need to use Compound Eyes really for thing, because 9% is probably like more than accurate enough, right? Finally, Shiinotic. I think Shiinotic got Spectre Swirl, which is the Let's Go Eevee move that's like Aromatherapy and Moonblast in one move. Pretty cool, right? I also got something else, I think, about Shiinotic. I got a HP buff and Cause, I guess, right? Pretty cool buffs, right? It's very like nice lower tier fairy pick, right? Looking at the type matchups, honestly nothing really stands out. If if there's anything, maybe fairy. I don't know. I don't think so even, right? I think this team isn't even like weak to anything, right? Like I'm just trying to find something. Yeah, no, this team is already not really weak to any type, which I think is like fantastic to just like have on your team, right? Like literally no type stands out as being like, strong against this team at all. Not even like a specific move like Moonblast, like Freeze Dry, like you've got like Rotom Keys and Ice Scales Lone Sunsash, which didn't also don't need an Ice Scales, it's 4 times weak. Right, Speeders is where I think the team is a little bit right, because it has 3 base 100 Pokemon. I don't really like that much, right? If one of these was like a base, I don't know, something else, I think it'd be nicer, right? But honestly, team is already so good that's like at this point a minor nitpick, right? Other than that, the obviously speeches are good though, right? Like you got a nice like 15, 14 jump here. You've got like a 21 jump here, which is like a little bit more than preferable, but like who cares honestly? Like like nice speed tier jumps, right? And like obviously have Mega Picture as your fastest Pokemon, which is great, right? This Pokemon is very fast, um very friendly breaker with great speed tier, right? Looking at the other utility, the hazard setting, Flygon is a good setter, but it's actually kind of hard. I think it's kind of hard to fit on Flygon, because obviously like more often than not would rather be doing an offensive role with its new buffs, right? That's like the most fun you can probably get out of Flygon right now. So like Finn Rocks is hard. Alone Sunsash, obviously with Ice Skills I can cook Rocks a little better, but you know And Klugu, even though, like, I did mention that Rocks makes it like passive, it's still at the end of the day pretty fucking passive regardless. Though it does get toxic, so that does help a lot, but like it's kind of it. Again, like Alone sounds like being your only spiker. This Pokemon isn't a great spiker, though I can definitely see it, doing it decently enough, right? Your removal is good, right? Running Pace is an amazing remover, Sunset is a solid remover, and then everyone else is pretty good too, right? Your momentum's great, right? You got Sure Reception, Parent Shot, you got Teleport, good U-turn users, Volt Switch, right? Great momentum that helps out a lot when you want to use something like Mega Pidgeot to keep applying so much pressure with that. Excuse me, amazing coverage. Your removal is very good, along with one of the better knockoff users in this game, and like the situation is solid at it, right? Stats is good because like Run Up Q is a good Pokemon, right? You got Spore, you got Thunder Wave, you got Yawn as well, and you're Soaking. Your priority is like solid too. You got Water Taurus, Aqua Jet, you got Ice Shard, you got Shell Sneak on two Pokemon that can use it pretty well. You got Sucker Punch on two Pokemon that can use it well, and your like Disruption. The only thing I don't like about this is the fact that your phasing is pretty shit in my opinion, right? Like your only good phaser is honestly Slowking, right? Mega Pidgeot's way too frail to take a hit and then click Whirlwind. And Flygon is, I think it's 4 times weakness, makes it a little bit too like susceptible to just getting like blown up before I can get that Dragon Tail off, right? Same for your like stat removal. Like obviously Clear Smog and Lone Muck is good, but like your only other ones like Haze the situation I think is shit, and you have literally no taunt. Which honestly, I see a lot of people just not using taunt at all, and honestly, like like it's not a mandatory move at all in your draft, but the option of having it is really nice to like disrupt something like a sticky web lead, for example, like along because they being like your own taunters like back. Overall though, I don't think this is one of the best drafts in this league, easily, right? You've got so many good Pokemon like Mega Pidgeot, you got like good you've got good defensive core of Runawiki and Slowking. Very great synergy between these two Pokemon, right? And just great picks like Water Taurus is one of the best like draft Pokemon, right, in general. Right, great typing, great offenses, very great defenses. My cutout, sorry. Yeah, Flygon's like an amazing Pokemon. You've got like just all around good picks on this draft. The only bad pick on this draft is Shiinotic, and even though Shiinotic is really not that bad because it has like Spore, right, it makes it really annoying to prep around. You've got like Strength Up, right, like overall, this is definitely the best draft in my opinion. Now, I'll be going over the team rankings now, so bear with me for a second while I make the doc for that. Now, I'm back. I'm going to be doing the team review now, like, I mean, the team rankings, right, so how I'm going to be, doing this is I'll be ranking each team, right, one by one, from worst to best, right, I want to save the best for last, right, and I'll be giving a brief explanation as to why I think the team is in the ranking it is in, right? So like I won't really delay too much, right? I'm just be straight going straight to the in my opinion the worst team in this draft. Like, I think it's Ufia's. I feel like this team is just pretty bad in my opinion, right? I feel like you've got a lot of issues, like the defensive Pokemon aside from Rotom Wash are pretty lackluster in my opinion. The offensive pieces are fine, right? You got Gengar, Savali, Azoth, and Guzzlord is like the best ones, but honestly, I feel like there's like some issues with them. Firstly, Gengar's Azoth definitely have a lot of type overlap, especially since Azoth with Generous can be a more especially offensive Pokemon. That's how it's best played anyways. Right, so Volley is more than likely going to be fulfilling a defensive role since you're honestly weak to so many things, and so Volley happens to be the best thing for those typings that you're weak to, right? Um there's like a lot of other issues, like you're weak to a lot of types, right? But like this, I think this team is just simply worse than the other ones in my opinion. Like there really is not much else to say about this draft, right? Um I think this team can definitely be fixed by using some free agents, but like I'm just not a fan of this team in general, right? Now the next team I'm gonna be going over is Millie's team. I think Millie's team is just simply worse than the other ones. I feel like offensively this team is pretty lackluster aside from Santaconda and Togekiss, right? Like Mega Man Electric is pretty like mid. Same with like Roserade and Chinchino, right? Surfetch can be like a decent breaker, but like that's kind of it, right? The defensive Pokemon on their own are pretty solid. They have Slowbro, Ampo, and Skeletor, just like the main ones, right? But the issue is I feel like Slumber and Poleon just overlap in typing way too much, like notably being just bulky water pivots. I feel like it's just pointless to have like um both of them on this singular draft. Think of one that went for something that helped with, for example, the team's crippling ground and or ghost weakness. It would definitely be saved. I think this team would definitely shoot up a few spots if that happened, right? Like this team also doesn't have too much like pivoting. Like obviously have both your washers, but I feel like like mostly one of them is only going to come per game. So like there's that. Right. I feel like Chinchilla is pretty much relegated to a tidy up sweeper. I feel like this team if it can't do anything else better than that. And like Mega Magnet Trick is like very exploitable. Oh, excuse me. Right. This team's party is also pretty lackluster, right? And there's like just a bunch of things that just make this, in my opinion, the second worst draft in this entire league. The next team I'll be going over is Kanye's team. Now, you might be wondering why Kanye's team is here when it's actually like has a lot of really good Pokemon, Kabaya, Crook, and Lapras. That's true. I think this team is actually leagues better than the two that preceded. I think it's actually like a pretty solid. It has a lot of like very solid offense pieces. You got the sticky webs. You got the like the iron shreds, which helps with removal. You got the like super fast core change, or breaker, all that. Like this team can definitely play offensively very well. The issue is it's just that this team is just too slow in my opinion for like an offense team like this, right? Like excluding Electrode, right? Your fastest Pokemon is Cobalion, right? You have like 4 Pokemon in between 110 and 100, and none of them are in 110, which I just think is just so bad in my opinion, right? That's like other than that though, I think this team is definitely solid, right? I just think like it's too slow for an offense team, right? I'm not. This is definitely like the first team that I wouldn't call like bad or like mid. Well, not yeah, right. But I definitely like think this team could have been better with the speed tiers, right? For like an offense oriented draft. However, obviously you do have sticky webs, right? As I mentioned, Vikavolt, right? Though obviously you definitely won't be able to bring the sticky web every game, so like that's a bit of an issue, right? Like if you bring sticky webs like very often, people are just gonna get catch on and just rock like loads of boots or something like that, right? It's not much else to say though, right? Like this draft isn't bad. It's just that I think it's like a little flawed for like an offense draft in my opinion. Next team I'll be going over is Spinedops's team. Spinedops's team suffers from being pretty slow. However, this team is definitely not bad. Despite it being pretty low ranked, I think this team is pretty good. Right? I just think it's like slightly worse than the teams above it. Right? I think the like next bunch of rankings are very close to each other. Right? I could definitely like interchange a lot of them. Right? This one just happens to be like the lowest one out of those. Right? I think like this team has great defenses. Right? It has like pretty solid breakers like Drapion, Mega Champ, right? It has good ways of dealing with its speed issue. Actually, it has good priority, right? Um, and this team isn't weak to any particular typings. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but yeah, right. Overall, like this team isn't bad. But it does suffer in speed very immensely, right? Though it can definitely perform very well, I think, for sure. The next team I'll be going over is Grunko's team. Now, as I've mentioned a lot of times, I think this team just struggles with that type matchup where you just struggle a lot with many types, and you're like all your checks to those types you struggle with are literally like a handful of Pokemon. Obviously, like Moltres isn't a bad defensive Pokemon, and like even like Nickel Stack is okay. Honestly, I did like a bunch of calcs honestly, like after I recorded Grunko's part, and honestly, it's not horrible, but like still having to rely on Moltres, Nickel Stack, and like Samurott as a lot of your defenses is just like I just do like as you're like I mean as like defenses tier the types you're weak to. It's just I just don't like it personally, right? I definitely think some better picks could have been made for like some of these resists that you like need, right? notably to water. I feel like having Samurai B or only water resist is just so bad, in my opinion, right? Otherwise, like those hydro pumps, those wave crashers are just gonna absolutely decimate this team in general, right? And also the fact that you just have pretty bad Stealth Rocker and Knuckle Stack, right? Is just also definitely brings it down in my eyes, right? It's definitely not a bad draft in my opinion. I just definitely think it could have been better in the type matchups aspect in my opinion, because again this team has a lot of really good Pokemon on it. It's just that singular thing. Now the next team I'll be going over though is Juicy's. I think Juicy's draft is very solid, just unfortunately like worse than the ones above it. Really, there's really like not much else to it, right? Like this team is good. Like even though you have a pretty crippling flying weakness, you have a pretty terrible ghost weakness. Alomomola and Muck are actually like very good switch-ins to many like neutral typings, right? Like for like again those Hurricanes, Brave Birds, those Shadow Balls, Poltergeist are just bouncing off them, right? Which is really fucking nice, honestly, right? Lots of cool Pokemon drafted too. Civilian Cloudser, like a Dusk, Gepadash, Sishiwashi. Lots of very like nice picks on this team, and the speedsters are also very nicely spaced out, honestly, right? Leaves very little room, right? And the priority on this team is also very solid, right? It's not crazy, because like a lot of these, you might see a lot bouncing. Most of these probably are pretty bad, like Jet Mola and First Impression Slowitzer, like you know. But yeah, overall, pretty good draft, right? Just worse than the ones above us already, right? The next team I'm going to be ranking is mine. My draft, I probably, I see people like place my team top three, often, but honestly, I just think the all the teams above us, in my opinion, are just are better in my opinion, just mainly because they drafted a lot more good Pokemon, right? Like I kind of struggled with like points budgeting at the start, which means I had to pick a lot of low pointers towards the second half of my draft, which just directly correlates to having more bad Pokemon like Zebstrika, Volbeat, Wigglytuff. And yes, I know I have Volbeat for like sun setting, but like you know, it's still a bad Pokemon for sure, right? However, aside from having a lot of pretty like subpar Pokemon, I think this draft is very good in my opinion. I think like only having one very core weakness being to rock is relatively fine and it's patched up by a lot of priority on my team. Gastro and Corviknight are good like switch-ins for the most part to most rocks, right? Like Zarude can definitely revenge kill a lot of them with like choice scarf if they're faster, or just right, like, and I have loads of utility. I definitely do not struggle in any utility aspect, especially priority and momentum. I think like this, these two, I did an absolutely stellar job in like picking those out, right? The next team I picked, and I feel like this is definitely a very underrated draft. I think Jolteon's is probably the third draft. None of these Pokemon are bad, right, at all. You have a few types you're like somewhat weak to, but the thing is, if you just take a look, the two that come to mind is like Ice and Fighting. Well, most fightings are dealt with by Florida and not Jeezing, Weezing, and like Ice, click an Ice move, lets Quavo and Entei in for free, which is just never desirable. Entei always spending those burns for free. Speeders are very good, right? You have loads of very fast Pokemon like Megasceptor and Jolteon with very well spaced out speeders and all below the 100 mark too, right? The utilities also definitely not lacking, right? You have a bit of everything except momentum, which admittedly is a bit of a struggle for this team, right? I really do wish this team had more momentum, right? But I think that's like fine, right? Like loads of very fantastic Pokemon, right? I don't think like any Pokemon in this team is bad, right? Unlike my draft, which is why I ranked this team above mine, though it is relatively close in my opinion, right? Just that like aspect I think puts it just slightly above my team in my opinion. The next team I'm going to be ranking is Icy's. I think Icy's team is excellent. Loads of amazing Pokemon. I think this is probably the draft that showcases Radical Red changes the best in my opinion. Between the fact that it has two severe Pokemon and like pretty much every Pokemon except like maybe Incineroar got changed substantially, right? I think like I mean that's obviously like just that's not like a factor that upsets viability, but like it's just cool to know that in my opinion. Obviously, aside from those factors, draft is pretty damn strong. Good physical Pokemon, good special offensive Pokemon, good bulky Pokemon, right? Like obviously Screamtail, which is in my opinion again the best Pokemon on this board, just straight up, right? Like you have many decent defensive Pokemon too, right? Selmize, Excadrill, Shield Dust can be pretty okay. Obviously, Squirtle, Incineroar against those ghost types, like physically defensively, or Reverie can has a lot of pretty key resists. Like Gudra's very good special defensive wall, right? Even Cloth can use like a regen vest and do very good success with it. I think this team's speed tiers are also just the best in the entire draft in general, pretty much perfectly spaced out in my opinion, right? There's a few types that this team is weak to, like Ghost, but like that's kind of it because like the other ones that this team could be weak to has like amazing checks, right? Like Rock gets destroyed by Selmize. You've got like you got Fairy, um gets completely like neutralized by Screamtail pretty much, unless your name is like Gigaton Hammer Guy, Tinkaton, right? Pretty good utility all around except the priority. I think the priority in this team is just easily the worst in the entire league. But like that's just like one minor nitpick in my opinion. And finally, I think the best draft in the league is gonna be Naga's. I think Naga's team just has everything, right? Good type matchups, right? You've got like great defensive core, great offensive cores. You've got like good pivoting. You've got good priority. Like everything on this team, I think is good. The only thing that's not like perfect on this team is the speed tiers. I think the speed tiers, and that's pretty much only because there's like free base 100 Pokemon, right? But the issue is all these Pokemon are good, so honestly, I couldn't really give a suggestion as to what could possibly go instead of one of these, right? Like, you know, this shit's like barely a issue in my opinion. My mic cut out, but yeah, like this team is just pretty much like nearly flawless. This is definitely going to be the best performing team in my opinion if Naga doesn't chuck out dicks every game, right? Like this team, like it's really hard to like find like an opening in this team, right? Because like there's no typings to exploit, no nothing. So that's it, right? These are the rankings here, right? And just like you know, just to have them here, right? There's really not much else to say, right? That this is gonna be the end, right? N- Pretty much a full week away, like exactly 7 days. In 7 days, this league is going to start, and midway through the week, I'm definitely going to be releasing a video of like my own game, and I'll keep be doing that every week, right? I might, if I really feel like it, I might post some like videos of like like highlights of the week if I'm really bothered in doing that, right? It's definitely something that could be very fun, right, to do. But like yeah, that's the end, right? I'm just gonna put up all the teams here, right? Hope you enjoyed this video. It was an extremely long one, took so long to make. I think it took me like a whole week of just on and off recording, right? Because I did every like pretty much every single section of like the team reviews one by one, like over like a bunch of days. I pretty much like re-recorded most of the video at some point because honestly I didn't like a lot of the parts, right? But yeah, see ya. See you next week when I'll be posting my weekly game. Goodbye.